Check.
Okay, are we ready? Motherfucking. Ow! Yeah!
Yelling, I have fucking neighbors.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forget you have neighbors.
Axe to grind.
This is Axe to Grind.
Yelling.
The neighbor podcast. We're going to go around Tom's building and interview every neighbor.
Who was the best TV neighbor?
Buddy Limbeck.
Oh, that's a hard one to beat.
Yep.
You were a Kimmy Gibbler guy, though.
I like Kimmy. What about Boner?
Boner's a cool one, but he's bootleg Buddy.
R.I.P. He is bootleg Buddy.
I would go Schneider because he helped fix their stuff in one day at a time.
Okay, very helpful.
What about who's the neighbor on
Three's
Home
Company?
Improvement?
Horace.
No, Mr. It's
Ron Meld.
He just puts his face over the fence.
Yeah, he got a sex charge, I think.
Yeah, he had to stay over there. He was his face was canceled. His eyes were fine.
He wasn't on the list, was he? Ronald? What is his name? Harry?
Hold on, I'm looking at that.
Roger.
Wilson.
Rashawn.
Wilson.
Okay.
Wilson. Okay.
His name is Wilson W. Wilson Jr.
Oh.
Played by Earl Hindman. He was on 200. Wait a minute.
Does it say what episode
on
they
a
find
lot.
out his name's on the registry?
No.
That was a two-parter.
He was on 202 episodes.
Yeah, I hope he got paid. Good for him.
He was on more than... No, he was not.
No.
Timothy the Toolman Taylor was on 204, and he was on 202. He was on...
Only 2 episodes without Wilson. That's wild. I wonder if
They
were
must
the
have been on
first two.
vacation.
First 2.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
They were like,
Pilot
we need to
and-
spice. Yeah, we need to spice this up. A neighbor who just shows his eyes. Boom! 200 episodes later, hit.
And that guy doesn't have to work.
Oof.
Okay.
He definitely is like bathing in residuals.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Welcome to Axe to Grind. I'm Patrick.
I'm Bob.
And I'm Tom.
Oh, wow. The tool man is in the building.
Home Improvement.
More power.
So, you know what it is, a hardcore podcast. Let's hit our sponsors. Who we got today?
We got Closed Casket Activity.
Oh.
CCA Army.
The hard and the heavy. Yo, am I misguided in characterizing a closed casket as hard and heavy? Because what if he wants to take a heel turn into like putting out jangly indie pop at some point next year? And I've kind of put this in the...
I think you put it... Well, I do think he's got a broader depth than just hard and heavy. I think he's got a lot going on. Because the Vane record, though hard...
Lots of influences.
It's heavy. It's heavy, but not... Like, it's different. I think there's going to be a lot of different stuff coming out. Twee Pop, I don't think he's going that way.
I don't know, man.
I mean,
He did
the
put out an
subject matter may be
end-of-year
heavy.
Segue
That's
EP.
true. 100%.
Is
That's
it named
Twee Pop.
Segway?
The other band was Segway, Japanese
Japan.
band.
Oh, I thought you were riding a Segway. After the party.
Yeah, that's right. That's the end-of-year side project band where it was just Patrick riding a Segway around.
No, you had to go to the Segway.
Oh, wow.
It was a promo. You had to go to the Segway dealership to get the record.
That's pretty. That's
You
way
go
shit.
there, you get free test drive, and then,
Yo,
Didn't
so...
the guy that made the Segway die from riding a Segway?
Yes,
Yes,
he
he
fell
did.
off a cliff.
R.I.P.
So there was, I believe, a Glassjaw pizza record, right? Like
Yes.
that you had to go to the pizza store to get it.
Yeah. Or
Pizza
pizzeria, as we call it
store.
in America.
A pizza.
The pizza store.
Hold on, let me take
Hey,
off
where
my.
you going to the pizza store over there, kid?
Let me
Get
take
a
off my,
calzone.
I'm taking off my human mask. I'm a lizard.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Take me
Fake
to your
Italian.
closest pizza store for some nutritions.
What kind of New Jack Italian are you?
Here's the.
He's new
I'm
Italian,
Literally
yeah.
new Italian. I just learned a year
Italian. Nutella.
ago. Yes. So
Faccia bruta.
I went down a hole on pizza picture discs. Horse the Band did the same thing.
Sounds great.
And here's what's funny about it. Now, Horse the Band, depending on your tastes, have a lot to apologize for. In their career, they say the only thing that they truly regret is the pizza record, which they say is terrible. And I think that's so funny to be like really
That's
honest,
what you, yeah.
like to just be like because. Now the story, they were always a band that was making up their own mythology.
Yes.
But the story was that they left a tour. Obviously, they must have gotten kicked off or somebody got sick or whatever. But they said it was to record this pizza EP that they felt inspired to do midway through the tour. Now, they they then record this record. Nobody really enjoys it.
Yes.
And they openly say that was a terrible record and a waste of our time and life.
And now they can't eat pizza anymore.
Now
Like they look at it and they get nauseous.
They cry. But
What about the band? I think it was.
What about your friends?
what about your
There's
friends?
pizza on the cover.
I've told you the only
Razzle Dazzle did a picture disc, pizza picture disc.
Oh wow, a lot of pizza.
and
pizza
the
bits.
LP cover is like a pizza box.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yeah.
And the record's called Strictly Saucers because
Right.
it's about
Working at a pizza parlor.
no, it's about only liking food that's round.
Oh, that's right.
Cool style.
God, I'm not giving that era enough credit for how stupid it was. That was remarkably stupid era.
Yeah,
of
they took
hardcore.
it. They had. If you ever watched their videos, they did some really ridiculous video.
Wasn't it like Beastie Boys light?
Sort of, but then it was like Beastie Boys hanging out on lakes in Michigan with like girls in bikinis and like Seadoos and like like it's a fun. It's
You
fun.
got to be careful. I've heard 3 times on Joe Rogan in the last month and a half that
Seadoos are canceled.
yeah, that ski-doos are responsible for potentially CTE. So guys,
Not football. Not football.
So
just
the guys
Ski-Doos.
in Razzle Dazzle, I want you to go get a scan
Yeah. You can only get the scan at Posthumous at this point.
at the pizza spot.
At the pizza store.
So, let's get into it. Sponsors, my turn.
I didn't even do mine yet.
No, that's true. I cut you off.
Fucking weirdo.
Just jump in.
They're like pizza.
Hold
Let's
on.
go back. Close
Did I tell you-
casket.
let me wait.
Hold
Did I
on.
tell
Did he
you?
ever put out a horse to band record?
Did I tell you? No, he did not. Did I tell you
No.
that my only horse to band story?
I think you just did.
Nope.
There's more?
Nope. They share a practice space, or did, with Touche Amore,
Okay.
Los Angeles, and had it. They might still have it well after they were like a band
Relevant.
that played with any frequency, right? So I think they would still get together and just jam and be like, well, maybe we'll do a
write more
record or something.
Nintendo songs,
right?
whatever the fuck.
So they Monster Energy paid for a giant, and when I say giant, I mean giant. Backdrop for them for some, kind of like Warped Tour
Sure.
thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And the only stipulation was that they had to put the Monster Energy logo someplace in it. So there's this massive fucking backdrop
Uh-huh.
that is a Renaissance painting, no Horse the Band logo, and the Monster Energy logo small in the corner.
Hey,
That would 100% be obscured by caps.
that's actually kind of brilliant.
It's great.
All right.
Monster Energy, sponsor us. We'll give you the same treatment.
Wow. Shout out Monster Energy. But to one of the sponsors we love.
Yes,
Close
not Monster.
Casket. What you got, Tom?
I'm going to say, put in the promo code Extra Grind.
Yeah. Oh,
and
okay. We're
spell it
jumping the
out.
gun here. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Say
Yeah, well, I'm
10%.
flipping it around a little bit.
Okay. No, I like it.
I'm saying go for something that was in the Mosh Madness.
Oh.
I'm going to say go pick up that God's Hate Mass Murder record.
Oh, yeah. I like it so much.
Soccer Chants with mosh parts.
Yes.
That's how Pat. You're right.
Did that sell it at all? Did people like that?
I think
don't
so.
recall.
Shout out to Brody King for being.
I saw him at the Garden.
The rest
he
of the
wrestled
God,
at the
yeah. That's
Garden.
pretty
God
amazing.
bless. That's cool.
That's like really cool.
I saw
Really,
him
really
doing the
cool.
same thing that the basement guys are doing. They
Oh,
played
the
Madison Square
like,
Garden,
like,
so they bought
get
the
the hood?
sweatshirt,
Yeah.
probably like the $45 fucking.
I mean,
Oh, you might
gotta.
get a disc. Maybe you get a discount.
I would hope
if you
that
play.
do. I doubt it.
What if there's a private merch booth for people who play the Garden where you can buy merch?
Or maybe you just get one. Maybe they give it to you. Like, hey, thanks, kid.
That's a
Doubt
class
that.
move. You think Mr.
Dolan?
would do that?
I don't think
Mr. Kraft,
Dolan is.
he giving out. You go to Gillette Stadium, you get a HJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go
for
to
sure.
Garden, you buying a sweatshirt.
Yes. No discount.
No discount.
Maybe the company bought it for everybody. Who knows?
So I kind of. Were you ever a Dolan man? Did you ever back him at all?
No.
No.
I'm familiar. Maybe his father didn't do a terrible job with the team.
Because
I don't mind what he does with the music side at MSG. He does a pretty good job with the booking and like
he's
his
kind of
business on that.
indefensible now.
Yes.
I think there was a number of years where you could kind of see both sides.
Okay, what do you want? What do you want me to go on? He does a decent job with the Rangers because he
Yep.
gave ceded control. With the Knicks, it's been a shit show, a lot on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Though he's redeemed a couple times. His problem was with Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah did bad stuff and bad sports management, so just don't have him around. He ceded the reins to Donnie Walsh, who he took from the Pacers, whose sole job was to tear the team apart from 2007 to 2010 with the interest of getting the LeBron James lottery.
Did you have no hope during the Isaiah years?
No, because I like Starbury, but that was well into he was not going to be great.
Yep.
And he made some really bad moves for big men, and he was focused on a brand of basketball that was no longer viable.
Okay.
So,
Have you heard JD in the Sure Shot?
mm-hmm.
James
band.
Dolan has a band.
Oh yeah,
real?
do you not know this?
Oh,
This is his
dude.
true passion in life.
Yeah, like this is what he
Oh,
really.
he'll talk about it. Be like, what would you rather be doing, JD in the Sure Shots or running the Knicks? He's like, "Pfft, you fucking kidding me? Give me my fucking saxophone.
And so we
He knows
know
he can retire, right?
Yes. Number one, we know some of us know his manager,
Oh wow.
his music manager only, and
Of
he owns a garden.
Yes.
So like when U2 plays the garden, he opens for U2.
That's not true.
1,000% true.
So he's doing the sleazy local
Like I book a
promoter,
show so I can go on before Terror. Yes.
Yep.
but on the Madison Square
Yes.
Garden level.
And he also
That's right.
like, so now I'm playing the Bridgeport Arena tonight with fucking Eric Clapton.
And how are JD?
And he owns the Forum in L.A.
Right.
So,
So what I heard last night from a buddy of mine,
Yes.
avid listener Kent Sinkler,
so
Shout
my
out.
buddy from Ohio, now in Chicago, he was saying that the Garden, it's one of those deals that it's like, well, oh, you want to play the Garden? You don't get to play Staples. You have to play the Forum.
yes,
That's how they do it. They
Yep.
force you to.
Wow.
because they're really trying to make the Forum a thing. I
Yeah.
guess.
So when there was the whole thing with, well, not the whole thing, with Weinstein.
Yes.
Yeah.
JD and the Straight Shot, and not the Short Shot, the Straight Shot.
Straight
I
Shot,
thought it was
yeah.
the Short. I was calling the Short Shot too. They have a
Should've
song
made the
called
body
"I Should
stop.
Have Known."
Oh,
Can I read-
about it,
Can I read you some lyrics?
please.
Yeah. This is getting.
We'll get back to
weird,
Donnie
though.
Walsh shortly.
We were friends. Talked for hours without end about his latest story, how to deal with fame and glory. All the girls who adored him catered to his every whim. Nothing he could lose. All we need to do is choose. I should have known. I should have known. I should have thrown myself across the tracks, stopped him from these vile attacks. I should have known. We believed and didn't see. Through the lies he told us all, they led him to his endless fall. I should have known. I should have known. I should have known. I should have known. And what of the others? In some way, all my brothers, sitting on the very top, could not hear the call to stop. Behind locked doors, the eyes of men who take what don't belong to them. From those who seek the bright and starry, we're threatened with, you will be sorry.
Holy fuck.
Oh, there's more if you want.
JD woke as fuck.
This is like.
Oh,
That's
no, there's an instrumental break, and then
sax part, yeah. Wait, so you're telling me that this multi-millionaire is writing bad hardcore songs?
Yeah.
yes, being like, how to?
He's a billionaire, by the way. There's not a
okay, there's
he's
no-
a
there's no avenue.
billionaire.
I mean, he owns the Rangers, the Knicks, and the Garden.
and the Forum and,
And the Forum,
several other
yeah.
venues. He's very
He-
his music stuff, his live promotion stuff is very successful.
So if
Yeah.
is he on Twitter?
you know
Can
how
I
hard
just-
it is.
can I just
Knicks
let-
tickets, despite the team being terrible, are still fucking expensive as shit.
Is there a way to let him know that he can retire? There's not like that much riding on him. He
Well,
can
I don't want him to retire because that means more JD and the Straight Shot.
I'll take JD and the Straight Shots over the Knicks being bad for another decade.
Would you take another one of those?
It's gonna be another
I
decade.
should have known. I should have fucking threw
I mean,
myself.
his heart's in the right place. It's just bad hardcore lyrics. Fuck.
The last time the Knicks were at least decent, Donnie Walsh tore them down, got their salary cap situation in check, and they had a half decent, half likable team. And since then, it's been bad, and they still lost out on LeBron twice.
Right.
So shout out to JD and Straight Shot.
Yeah. So have him as a guest, maybe.
Closed casket, you're getting that record. And what are we doing on the other side? Let's talk about
Let's talk about Triple B, my dudes.
B.
So, Triple
Beasts of the game.
B, it's truly like the 1,000, what like 6-arm punchers of the, like you can't stop. There's just
What are you saying?
There's
He's like a
so much
Medusa.
happening. There's so much happening.
Yeah.
Like you're getting it from all angles with Triple B.
Absolutely.
And a lot of shit that like he does a good job of maintaining a brand,
Yes.
while also putting out 3 Knee Deep, putting out Nudie Mag. You know what I mean? Like things that you think are like, oh, that's not exactly on brand. You're doing it like Ghost Main. You know?
He's so busy. He's got like lists of what's coming out. Like he's like, I have to keep it all organized.
Fuck.
I know.
So I'm going to say this Eco Strike, Another Promise Flexi is
Yes.
what you should pick up. And I'm saying this in part Probably because if you do enough of an order, your 10% off that you get from I'm just gonna ruin. I'll ruin the fucking thing too.
I didn't ruin it. I did it smoothly.
Yeah, you added to it. My bad.
Thank you.
Is by putting an extra grind.
Records.limitedrun.com.
Right.
Extra dry, as he said.
Extra grind, and then you spell it out. I bet if you did a big enough order, it would cover the cost of this Flexi, probably, right?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Get that one in there.
Get that one in there. Why the fuck not? Eco Strike, I've said that their last record it just needed a tiny bit more of its own fucking spin.
Yes.
And I think that we are going to get that very soon. And I think that I don't know.
Feel it coming.
I feel it coming. You know what I mean? Same thing with Magnitude. Same thing with Magnitude, which also have a record coming out, yeah?
Yes, they do.
So
The first
Up for
LP.
order now, yeah.
So I'm kind of excited for the bands that I was dismissive of, because I think that while that sound that I love that birthed them, I think that they're going to shoot into their own direction.
But you're staying on brand, because what you've also said over and over is that you like it when bands you don't like it when bands ape another sound. You like it when they evolve and then it's their own sound and
Yeah.
something new. So
shout
out to that.
Shout out to Eco Strike. Shout out to Flexis, which are a garbage product but really fun.
And a better use of money and time than regular 7 inches. At
Fucking
this point.
for sure.
All right. You know what today is?
Tell me,
Fucking fun time mailbag. Let's dive in.
please.
Been a while.
It's been a while.
All right, let's go. All right. So we got hit here. Robert asks, and it's not me. Hey, I've never emailed a podcast before, and I only discovered Axe to Grind around episode 50. So apologies if any of this was talked about in episodes 1 through 49.
Come on, Robert.
Well,
He's there.
welcome to the club. Glad you're here.
Episode 50 starts a Judiciary song. Long story short, do you guys not play? How come you don't play a lot of music? I appreciate the Spotify playlist, but curious why discussion hasn't actually included some of the tracks being discussed. So it's been a while. You've heard another listening party since then. We do them, find them. Pat, why don't we do a ton of music on the show?
Because I have a 2011 laptop, and we operate as... So people
We go Econo.
We definitely jam
we jam
Econo.
Econo.
So for people that we've talked about it, there's podcasts that are bigger than ours that happen to sound worse. We don't know how that happens because we operate on kind of a very intentionally portable, intentionally kind of cheap sort of thing here that will change as I'm going to take active strides to kind of upgrade my life. But right now we're shoestring. And
Bet you couldn't tell.
and that way
No, it sounds good.
and the place that manifests is things that are easy for a lot of podcasts are a little taxing for me personally.
And so just to pull the curtain back, we're 2 months out. Pat's got a Drug Church tour coming up. When he gets back, the apartment he's renting in Soho opens up, and that's where the studio equipment's going to be delivered. So give us some time on that, and
thank
go
you.
buy a Drug Church shirt, and more so.
That loft is going to be great, man.
I know, I
Yes.
can't wait.
So insane.
Well, it's cool
How many-
because
how
we
many
have the
thousands of
3-bedroom
square feet?
Well, it's the 3-bedroom, so you got your room, which is like a 1,000 square foot master.
Yes.
And then there's the 2 guest rooms, one of
Yes.
which we're planning to use as a studio, but also like a lounge,
Sure.
kind of thing. So, yeah, where's that? That's right off. Like
It's Worcester, right? Worcester Street?
something like
I
that.
think so.
Fuck.
I
What?
thought it was like Broadway and.
No, where does Moby live? Do you know off the top of your head?
Well, because he's two apartments
Yes.
down.
I mean, he lives in my heart.
He's he's 2 apartments down from me. So yeah, just look for Moby's house. Walk through. It's right across from Chinatown, whatever the fuck it is. Just yell Moby, Moby, Moby. When he sticks his head out the window, look
Then
2
say
buildings
yes.
or look
And then-
2 floors up. That's where we're at.
I'll
You're
be
in the
looking out the
penthouse.
window
Yeah.
eating ramen.
Yes.
So, all right. Talked about Battery, and then that reminded me of the couple great 7 Seconds covers that Battery did, but neither of those covers, I think there were 2, are in the Battery releases on Spotify. Similarly, the 7 Seconds albums are also not on Spotify. What kind of conspiracy is this? Answer that question. What kind of conspiracy is it?
Oh, it goes deep. It's QAnon. It's deep state. It's
I think it's the Masons.
It's the Masons. No, honestly, it's when you put out records across 10 different labels, things can get hinky because a lot of times people disappear.
Sam Hinkie.
Actually, Tom, you can't speak to this directly because I think you were no longer an Indecision when that record came out, but there's a record. Isn't there a Lost Indecision record? Like, is it on?
I don't know. I've never looked.
I never
Wait,
looked
what are you
either.
talking about?
It doesn't exist, right?
My
job is done.
The Indecision record that doesn't exist.
There were 4 records. There was
Yes.
Unorthodox, Most Precious Blood, To Live and Die in New York City. Or, I think that's what it's called. And,
Shark Teeth or
and
something?
Released
No, that's Most Precious Blood.
Okay. Yes.
The Most Precious Blood has a song that is mistitled on Spotify, and it makes me laugh every time.
Uh-huh.
Every time, meaning twice I've ever listened to it.
Yeah.
And it's called The Great Red Shit instead of The Great Red Shift.
That's fantastic.
And no one's ever fixed it. And literally, it's The Great Red Shit.
Yo, that's scary though. Great red shit.
Oh my god,
Bad sign.
You ever eat
Dude.
too many beets?
Oh,
No.
and you think
Oh,
you're, yeah,
red?
you think
Really?
like you have
I
all
love
the
beets,
fucking
too.
yeah.
You're convinced your
I think
colon
I'm fueled
cancer. I'm
by
done.
beets.
You
Right,
know?
you have like
That's all right.
can't like from your throat all the way down. Like everything is cancerous.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So,
you ever eat too many beets?
I mean, that's
I
what-
love beets. I don't think I could ever eat
Beets,
them. I love
bears, Battlestar.
do you like borscht?
Yeah, the cold soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it warm too, but it's just that beet. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's great.
So good.
I had a beet soup base on something. Oh, it was a vegetable soup with a beet soup base.
Did you see me like get up in my seat? I got excited. I want to talk soups
I think
with you.
Amanda got mad at me, but I was freaking out. I think her mom made it. No, we got it from some market up in Connecticut, and it was a beet soup, but a veggie soup, but a beet soup base. Unfucking real, so good.
To our listeners that don't fuck with vegetables, you're fucking up.
Losers, you
You're
losers.
fucking up. Drink water, eat vegetables.
True. Speaking of bands which have been lost in time, a few popped in my head. I'll read it. I'll read what he says, and then you guys can respond.
Please.
Speak 714, which only had one full length, I think, but I enjoyed a lot, and then they disappeared, and I've never heard their name mentioned again since about 1999.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Dan O'Mahony Band, any feelings, Tom?
I actually like that record. They did that Rev tour with
In My Eyes and Better Than 1,000.
It's a good gig.
A tour that we could do an entire podcast with the stories, because you have the dudes from In My Eyes, who were some of which were young kind of jokesters.
Jokes.
Ray Capo and the guys
Okay.
from Better Than 1,000, and Dan O and some older dudes from Orange County.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at one point one of the dudes from In My Eyes was like, "Ray, spar with me. I know you do some jiu-jitsu stuff, whatever." And he's like, "Nah, I don't like to spar. I don't do that stuff." And the guy's like, "Come on!" And he was like egging him on, and so then Ray just like handed his ass to him.
Oh,
like,
sure.
beat his ass.
Amazing.
I'd like to do. Speak did I think it's called The Scum Also Rises, and then they did a 7-inch after that. I think the 7-inch actually holds up. I haven't listened to either in a really long time. They didn't do anything after that. No Innocent Victim, which provided you could divorce yourself from some of their terrible beliefs, seemed to be fairly popular in the time, and I can't remember the last time I've heard a peep about No Innocent Victim.
Yeah, nobody talks about this band, but they did have a following in part because they were a heavy Christian band, and there was definitely a market.
Christian.
There was definitely a market for heavy Christian bands. If I recall,
I mean, do we know people don't talk about them, or we just don't hang out with a lot of Jesus people?
I mean, is Jesus hardcore still a thing? Really, I don't know.
We need to find the God to Grind podcast.
Yeah. Actually, there is an interesting podcast. There's an interesting podcast who really interviews mostly Christian dudes,
Okay.
even though he's not Christian. I'll
Is it
try to get
called
the name
The
of that.
Bible, the podcast?
Yeah, it's
Can we do a
Basic
podcast
instruction.
called The Bible, the podcast, Mr. Religious Studies?
sure.
All right, we'll do it. You can break it down to me and Tom.
So No Innocent Victim. Let's see. Am I fucking up? Where were they from? Oh, San
California.
Diego. That's interesting. I don't remember that at all.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they had fans, but it's stuff like this that toured with Agnostic Front.
Am I wrong to lump them with Brothers Keeper for some reason? Probably, right?
Okay,
Or
interesting.
is it literally that they just have similar looking logos?
Interesting you would say that. Dave Quiggle, who is one of the
yeah.
Quiggle brothers who played in Disciple,
Yeah.
The artwork, right?
and Shockwave, which definitely Shockwave almost certainly had crossover with Brothers Keeper.
Yep.
And
All from
then,
Erie and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then yes. So the Quiggle brothers are actually fascinating characters. I know you guys roll your eyes when Christian shit comes up, but it's interesting shit, and the Quiggles are interesting dudes.
Christianity is interesting. Please do tell.
Christianity is interesting,
story.
sure. But
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
But
But that Quiggle dude was
Weird
like
flex,
a
but
lot
okay.
of weird, like early aughts
Yeah.
artwork.
all of it.
It's like To Die For and them, that guy.
Oh, nobody would understand To Die For.
Wow.
Still around.
Wow.
Still around.
No Incident Victim? Anything? Ever hear him even?
I've heard them. I saw them once at Furnace Fest,
yeah.
and we were supposed to play Gilman with them. And the guy that was booking
How did they play
there at the
Gilman?
time
Yeah.
were afraid there was going to be beef, so we weren't allowed to play. Not that we would have done anything. I don't think they would have done
Should've
anything
been.
either.
I just want to point this out. Dave Quiggle has put out many more records than I have.
Yeah.
This guy has played on got to be 25, 30 records. His production shit is nuts. He's got a list of 120 production
What are
things.
some of the records he's played on?
I don't think anything that would
No.
thrill you guys. The Scarab Disciple record I like. If you like heavy hardcore, it's pretty good. But he's played on
Secret Jesus Freak right here.
fucking 1, 2, 3, literally 12 Disciple records, 2 Jesus Wept records.
Is Disciple still a band?
No.
Okay.
5 Shockwave records at least, if we're
There's
not counting
5
demos.
Shockwave records.
Yeah.
I thought that was one, and that's why people talk
Well,
about it.
you're not counting live in Poland. Where are you at?
Live in Poland? They played Poland?
Yes. These bands were not, I'll never call them big. They filled rooms. You know what I mean? Like, so he played in No Innocent Victim, played in something called Mothership that I don't know, actually, from 94. Interesting. Anyway.
All right. So, yes, next question.
The Red Tree. The Killing Tree. The
Love
Killing
them.
Tree.
I have stuff I
All
can
right.
say about them.
I'm a little surprised there hasn't been more interest in TKT, considering how big and popular Rise Against was/is. I know they didn't tour much, and their time was short, though they did have a couple EPs and fooling. Still, they were pretty great, and I would have thought the Rise Against connection would have kept them a tiny bit more relevant than they are now. Hell, I still occasionally see reference to Arma Angelus, and they were kind of shit.
Who?
I mean,
Talks about
there's some.
I don't know
early
who.
on.
Tell me, I've never heard of the Killing Tree.
So the Killing Tree is Tim, the singer from Rise Against, like metalcore band.
Okay.
I forget who else is in it. It is incredibly well done hardcore, like metalcore, like not too like it's. We played with it like once or twice at Fireside before, like I knew the dude as the guy from the Killing Tree.
Yeah.
And like when I'd see somebody like, oh, check it out, there's like a fucking Rise Against fucking bumper sticker. Not, like, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Tim's band's getting out there. And then now they're like the biggest band in the fucking world, whatever. But it's super good. It was on One Day Savior,
Yes.
which was Chris from Sky Cave Falling's label. So it kind of, when everything went digital, that didn't go.
Which ties back into our,
Yes.
where do these records go?
Yes.
They had an LP called, I think it was called like The Romance of Helen Trent.
Let's see. The Romance of Helen Trent. You are correct. 2002. Very fucking of the era artwork. Go
Yes.
on.
It was actually a radio soap opera that I was like, what does that mean? It's a radio soap opera which aired on CBS from 1933 to June 24th, 1960 for
Well,
7,222 episodes.
What?
While Patrick's gone, I'm going to work on our radio drama,
Yeah,
our
Shane.
podcast drama. Yeah.
So it's Tim from Rise Against, former Rise Against drummer Todd Money, and bassist Jeff Rue of Baxter and Holy Roman Empire.
Huh. So yeah, it is. Have you ever heard of this band?
Yes.
Okay. Sound metalcore.
You know what? I thought it was more on the metalcore meets Deftones tip, but but I
okay.
could be wrong.
All right.
I don't
can see
recall at
either
all.
Side.
It's bands like this, Ink Cartridge Funeral. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on that were people's side bands that I do not remember very well at all.
Ink Cartridge Funeral is Zach from
Yes.
Bane singing. It's,
Yes.
But
That's
it's
right.
his like Faith No More kind of
And
Deftonesy.
What did it become?
Silent Drive.
Silent Drive. That's right.
Finally, I recently got a Mosh for Paws X Indecision shirt.
Yep, thank
to
you.
benefit animals caught in the California wildfires. When will I see a "For Those I Love, I Will Axe to Grind" shirt? Terrible pun, but I laughed to myself when I said it out loud. Thanks, Robert. Yo, Robert, thank you. Good joke.
We'll do a benefit shirt for Pat.
Oh, for me?
Boom.
Thank you
There you
for the new that new penthouse.
And he also asked, please explain the Knocked Loose numbers.
They're a fucking popular band.
Super popular. We talked about it on the last episode. All right, let's go in here. One, Scott says, "Hey guys, thank you for your time and effort.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Nice things. One question is kind of lighthearted and one kind of heavy. The 1-year anniversary of Caleb Schofield's passing was last week. Has there been a musician's passing that really impacted you?"
Let's see.
Like a personal, like, feel it way. I don't know. It's been a couple things. I mean, it's a weird one saying, but when Tom Petty died, I was like, oh, that sucks because I never saw him, and he's one of the first artists musically that I was into. And it didn't really matter, but that was a little weird. But it wasn't like I was, I didn't know the person personally, and I guess that's kind of a cold thing to say, but it did. I didn't feel any sadness. When Kurt Cobain died, it was really weird. I was just kind of getting into music, and I didn't really care about Nirvana, but if it was like such a thing that everyone in my middle school was freaked out, everybody was tripped out about it, and it was like a weird thing.
25 years ago this week.
I know, it's wild. I was 94. I was in 6th grade, I guess, and it was wild, and people were busted up about it.
I'm looking right now. Somebody died this year, and it caused me to pause, but I don't recall who. This was just a few weeks ago. I feel like I really, really hit like a strong pause where I said, "Oh, I'm sad." But
Dolores O'Riordan.
No, that was not the
That's
answer.
for me though. But the Cranberries,
Okay.
I love the Cranberries. That was a weird one. I was kind of
Same.
sad. Any other ones, Tom?
Mine just sounds like I'm being mad pretentious and dorky, but Elliott Smith
Oh no,
was a
that's
big one for me.
Yeah.
I loved his music. I got to see him play like 2 weeks before he died.
Oh, wow.
There was a thing called like Field Day, I think it was called. They were doing like a big concert at Giant Stadium.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
And it flopped hard. And then I guess there was like a rain out or whatever. Like, oh shit, I can't believe this got rained out. Like people were very excited. So I got to see him at North 6, which became Music Hall Williamsburg.
Oh yeah, North 6.
And like he looked so fucked up. And it was like super depressing, and like people like there was like some fucking doofus like yelling stuff, like kind of like trying to be fun, like the funny guy at the fucking quiet show.
Don't do that. Don't stop.
And like this dude was obviously like not feeling great, and he was like, "You're beautiful." Like Elliott Smith's not beautiful, you know what I mean? This dude, you could tell him being like, "I feel so fucking uncomfortable," and then he died like 2 or 3 weeks later. It's still up for debate whether it was suicide.
Right. Right.
There's a theory that his girlfriend killed him.
Yep.
Because he has hesitation wounds. Or no, he didn't have hesitation wounds.
Right.
And because
Maybe he was just a go-getter.
but he also had he had cuts on his hands, like defense wounds.
Yeah, and there's also this is where we do the for legalese that we allegedly all speculation.
Mm-hmm.
People that apparently have dated her because she's dated a number of profile musicians.
Oh, I didn't know that.
People that have dated her have said publicly what they can't say, which is they won't say she did it. They'll just
say she won't.
they'll just say that she is the type of person who would. You know what I mean?
I mean, to kill yourself by stabbing yourself in the heart.
Yeah, but to kill somebody else by stabbing them in the heart is pretty extreme. You know what I mean?
But it's more feasible. I mean, if you stab yourself in the heart, you probably only got one shot. You hit yourself once, right? I mean, can you take multiple stabbings to your heart?
I never tried. I don't know.
You want to give it a shot?
Only get one shot.
I got a butter knife in there.
That was a bad one. Mark Hollis of Talk
Yes.
died a few weeks ago. Is who I was thinking of, and I paused not because I really only like half his discography. The portion that is considered genius, that's background to me. I don't need too much of it. But I admired the fact that he decided to go in that direction when it was so obvious that it was not going to be financially the move. You know what I mean? And then he retired at a young age
Yes.
from music to just, and his answer was, just one more time with my family. Now, he was always a hesitant sort of star. He didn't, but to just walk away from, most people need admiration. And if the only admiration that you need is your son or daughter, then you are a very blessed person. You're mentally well. You know what I mean? And if you had the other experience of like having Live Aid clap around along with you, then.
And you can you're sated by the appreciation of family.
Then
it's
like
amazing.
It speaks so much to your character, you know? Because some assholes chase it their whole fucking lives.
Oh, it's the dragon. All right, that's a good answer. You should listen to the episode of Overnight Drive where Hans gives a very nice eulogy for the dude.
No shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know you're not going to, but you can just have Andrew summarize.
Right.
2, let's say, this is so apropos, you're a WWE wrestler. What song do you walk to the ring to?
I think the
you're
most
a wrestler.
I think the most, I've said this a million times, I tweet it twice a year. The best intro of all time is Mike Tyson coming out to the Time for Some Action clip, just repeated over and over and over again. So it's the Cypress Hill line that was used in the Redman song, but the Mike Tyson version stops before
time for some
yes,
time, over and
and over again. And there is nothing better in all of life. If you watch, he takes forever to get to the ring in this particular clip that I'm talking about, and it is every second of it. If you are of an age where Mike Tyson was the scariest man, it is fucking awesome.
He's got a fucking
It's
towel over his
such
neck,
a
he's ready to
moment.
fucking murder somebody.
So I would, I would come out to that. I debate coming out to that fucking for my bands. You know what I mean? I think it's awesome.
We can work that out. Tom.
Do I go? I'm gonna go. I Shall Be Heard.
Oh wow,
By
That's a good one.
I was gonna go Firestorm, but it felt like that was a little too on brand.
I'm going Right Brigade by the Bad Brains because I think that has some character to it. It's got that like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
sure.
It's a good one. Good come out song.
Oh, but by the way, I'm down a Jennifer Chiba hole. That's Elliott Smith's girlfriend at the time.
Sure.
Because there is a Justice for Elliott Smith com.wordpress.com, which is all about apparently exposing her.
Wow.
Which is apparently she's also on Weezerpedia.
She date Rivers Cuomo?
I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
She
was. She did date Rivers Cuomo.
Are you hoping that she recreated her masterpiece?
No, I don't hope anybody dies.
No,
But
do you think she and Rivers kind of maybe sort of thought about it? Yeah, kind of, sort of.
kind of,
yeah, sorta.
Yeah.
I had a crab with,
Knife. Knife.
yeah, sorta.
God, what a weird personal history that would take you all over the place, like dating a bunch of celebrities, but there's people on the internet that are trying
Coming
to tie
at
you to
you.
a murder. That's really crazy.
Paul Glover. What's up, Paul? What's up, dudes? What are your thoughts on the world of hardcore generally having such a regional bias when it comes to taking bands, labels, etc. seriously? It seems that if you're not from pretty much anywhere in the Northeast, Cali, Richmond, Chicago, or the like, that it's much harder to break through and get attention. There's always exceptions, of course, but I've noticed this for years, with it being even more prevalent recently. A friend's band a few years back, whose name I won't mention but you've heard of, was denied by a label simply because they were, quote, geographically fucked, unquote, according to said label. Sucks that a lot of good bands from outside the usual hardcore hotspots have to work that much harder to get the attention they deserve. Just wanted to get your dude's thoughts. Been playing in different bands for years and currently playing a band called Rat Poison. We are from South Carolina, so I've gotten to experience this firsthand for years.
Sure.
We don't suck, riffs be hard. Check out the Bandcamp, ratpoisonhc.bandcamp.com, Spotify, all that shit. Much love. Thanks for everything you do. Shout out, Paul. Good question.
Good name. We'll check it out.
Regional bias, not more so than ever before. It's always been there.
I'd say less so than ever before, really.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Think about the number of big bands over the past decade that have come from parts unknown.
But he's not wrong. You know what I mean?
No, he's not wrong. There's a bias. It's hard. It's harder. Why? Let's start real quick. California, largest state in the country, built-in audience, a lot of stuff been established for a long time. And even all that said, we talk about how there was a hardcore bias against California as recently as the early 2000s.
Yep.
Ask dudes and bands from there, they were constantly fighting to even get an ounce of respect from anyone anywhere else, especially the East Coast.
And multiply that times 3 if you make your way up to Seattle.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Texas hit radar a decade ago.
Yep.
Middle of the country, you mentioned Chicago. Chicago's got a little built-in scene there, but we talk about a lot of hardcore bands. What's the most classic Chicago hardcore band we've ever mentioned on this show? There isn't one.
Naked Raygun?
Maybe, but that's like adjacent, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we don't talk about like when I think about Chicago hardcore, classic bands, who's the one classic? Life Sentence. LP, pretty good, but like that's nobody talks about Life Sentence.
No, but
The Killers, like Shellac, yeah, but that's adjacent. The Killers are a more recent example. There's never been a Los Crudos. Okay, there's a classic.
Right. So Crudos.
Limpress originally from there, but not.
I have a thing with Chicago. It's a cool place to play. I like playing there.
Cool city.
It is. There's a strong scene, makes for good shows, but there is also a lot of wrong there. We don't need to get all into it, but there's a lot of people who are proud of weird shit there.
Sure.
And sometimes it's a detriment to their scene. But at any rate, Chicago hasn't had a ton escape it in the realm of actual hardcore. You are correct.
Sure.
100%.
And even heavier stuff. Am I missing anything? Because I could be missing something from the heavier side, but
there's things people. Well, Harm's Way. But,
Harm's Way is a good example.
And there's things,
Weekend Nachos. Yep.
And there's things that people love.
Last decade,
There's things that people love that they say they love, like The Killer or Convicted, right?
Yep.
Like there's things that they say, but didn't
Extinction.
really escape. I don't know if anybody says that.
Back in the 90s. I'm trying to think of 90s bands.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, all those bands. It was Race Trader from Chicago.
Okay, Race Trader's a good example.
Fall Out Boy.
Are these good examples?
Well, they're not.
I'm not
They're
saying-
examples of bands that never. Like Race Trader, I don't think Race Trader ever had a stranglehold. Like when they were an active band, they were never like a giant band.
No.
Right?
No.
Like,
No, but I think if you're thinking about Chicago hardcore bands, they're
Yes.
Well,
okay.
but like
one-
ones that even have like any kind of actual like, oh, this is a band that people in other places really like. It's tough. You're not wrong. Regional bias is a real thing.
But
If you look back, the traditional places where hardcore was big continue to be that way. It's not
Even-
unlike sports, to be honest.
even just like sports, even in bad years, even in down years, you think of it as being, oh, that's a baseball city, even
Yes.
though, or that's a basketball city. Tickets are so much.
Yes. You want this example? In the NBA since 1979, only a handful of teams have won the championship. The Chicago Bulls are seen as a one of the like biggest franchises in basketball because of Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and winning 6 championships in a row. The Golden State Warriors were a laughing stock before the last 4 years.
Pretty much my entire life.
Yes, and now they're one of the best franchises. Once you get a band or 2 bands or whatever, all of a sudden you can be a thing. So be that band for your area. That's just what you got to do. And you got to put on. You got to do something unique. You got to do something that actually makes people come out locally, but then also take that show on the road. Fucking big ask.
Big
ask.
Honestly, you got to work twice as hard, and that's just what it is.
Yes.
Modern Life is War. You can feel any way you want about their music.
Sure.
The thing that they really
They made a bunch of people know where Marshalltown, Iowa is.
I've never heard of Marshalltown before.
No.
then.
And I don't think there's a scene there of bands that I'm aware of, but it doesn't matter. That band worked twice as hard to get out of that fucking town.
It's
And-
them, Slipknot, and William Elliott Whitmore.
That's it.
That's all of Iowa right there.
And Casey Muskrat. So that you just got to work twice as hard, and there's no easy answer.
And it's not.
What
Is it right? No, not right. Just the way it is.
No. But honestly, I'm seeing what's bubbling in Connecticut.
Yeah.
A lot of metalcore and a lot of like kind of thug hardcore. Those scenes are insular. Those scenes don't travel far yet, but all it's going to take is a little push
Yep.
And suddenly Connecticut is going to be. I think
Just
Connecticut
needs
might be
one-
2020. I think honestly Connecticut might be the thing.
I think there's
going to
be some interesting. Yeah. We should talk about regional franchises. Connecticut's going to be interesting. I think I've big up the Buffalo thing. I think they got a bunch of good kids doing the right thing there. Louisville obviously has a lot more going on. And there's another one. Talk about Louisville. They got the Fest there, LDB.
Yep.
They got a grip of young bands doing a bunch of stuff, and they're just kind of making it. And they have one flagship band, Knock Loose. And whether you like them musically or not, they put on for their place, and they draw people. So all of a sudden, you got the right formula to get people into hardcore in the place you are. All right. Great questions, though. We got an email from Alistair. Great
Alistair?
question. Alistair.
Good name. Let's go.
Hi. You've touched on Biohazard a few times. Tom seems most into it.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
you've never delved into the records in any depth. The first few records were formative for me and still get played regularly.
Interesting.
I even like some of the mid-period records a lot, and the 2011 album has some bangers too.
Wow.
Seems they spin from being considered canon to a joke depending on the year.
Yes.
I'd get psyched for an OG lineup return, and Billy is still out there working it. What are the axe to grind opinions on Biohazard from old to new, and would you do a deep dive? Keep it up, Alistair.
I would 100% do a deep dive.
100% would do a deep dive.
And my
100%.
opinion is that's more fun than it is good.
Correct.
I think there would be some slogging through.
Oh, yeah.
But worth doing because they get name checked a lot. And I do think they've had an influence on hardcore,
For sure.
especially over the past 15 years. And I think when you listen to it, I don't hear it all the time. I almost feel like I hear more what people think they sound like. Or maybe a couple tracks as opposed to what they actually sound like. How does that feel?
I think that makes sense. I think if you listen to Bitter End,
Yeah.
that's more Biohazard than it is Madball.
Huh. Okay.
That's it. I don't know. I had a bitter end moment the other day because of Mosh Madness where I was reflecting on why I think Bitter End is so much better than their contemporaries.
Yes.
And I think it's in part because of sort of what he's talking about, which is you kind of can't name what it exactly is while you can easily put it in a genre.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's really an interesting...
Like how we talked about No Warning.
It's an
Yeah, that's
that's
true.
an interesting reality.
I think about the Biohazard stuff, and I do think some of their classic records, when I listen to them, I'm like, this record is so much... The production on it is so much smaller than I think it should be.
Oh, sure.
Because the way it's regarded, and why the bands who name check them like sound like they have bigger records. Because of modern production, you know?
I have found songs on multiple body count records that I like, so I know that I could get through the deep dive on Biohazard.
Okay, that's
It
on the
could be
list.
done.
We're going to put
Could
it on
be
the
done.
list. We got it coming up. All right.
There's a lot of bad though.
Oh yeah.
First three, pretty solid.
Yeah.
First two, especially. But it gets real bad.
How many records are there? Is that really?
A lot, right?
Yeah.
Really? I'll be honest, I thought there was 4. So
Oh no. I'm trying to find. They had the State of the World address.
Yeah.
yes. I know the album art.
So
very
what is
well.
it? It's
It's self-titled.
yes, then
Urban Discipline,
then
State of the World
Address.
Address.
That's right.
And then, but I was saying the State of the World address record release show.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is just to give you an idea. Like, it was at Roseland.
right.
And it was like literally all New York. It was Madball,
Yep.
Crown of Thorns, Bulldoze, Marauder, I Hate God, Sheer Terror, Clutch.
Wait, what was this many bands necessary?
It was like 15 bands and yeah,
It's a party, man.
but everyone got like 15 minutes.
I like
That's
that.
It was super quick, but it was all. I mean, it was let me see how many records they have out. Give me one moment.
Okay.
Discography. We got 1990 Biohazard, which was on Maze Records, which doesn't exist anymore. 1992 Urban Discipline. 1994 State of the World Address. 1996 Mataleo. 1999 New World Disorder. 2001 Uncivilization.
God.
2003 Kill or Be Killed. 2005 Means to an End.
Wow, every 2 years.
2012 Reborn
No
in
break.
Defiance. That's the first one
It's
without
the 9th studio album. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So
2 live records. Tales from the B-side compilation. 2 demos, one of
Live
which was
records?
sketchy.
Do we need a live record?
Well, do you need 2?
You got me if I do. Thank you.
Yeah, they did one without Evan. Oh, no, it's the final album to feature founding member and vocalist bassist Evan Seinfeld. Pat's favorite porn star.
Yes. Is he still working?
I don't think so.
So,
I think he broke up with...
Tara, yeah.
I believe.
R.I.P. to that. Okay, so I
Hardcore's
did it by
biggest
album
success.
art. I can recognize the album art up through Mataleo, right? And then I do not recognize
Yes.
this other album art. So that's a lot of listening. Okay, who's this? Alistair? Is this the same kid? The different kid?
Same dude.
Alistair cursed us because this sounds like a lot of heavy lifting.
Yo, Biohazard, the 1988 demo tape is 39 minutes and 40 seconds long.
Holy fucking
Jesus
God.
Christ.
So can I give you some
It's
of
a lot
the...
of yard
Yes,
work.
please.
Are you familiar with the first Biohazard demo?
Yes.
The controversy around said demo?
Right.
Yeah.
That's honestly the only reason I'm familiar with it.
Correct.
Number 1, intro skinny song, which ended up becoming... It's on the other records.
Okay.
Number 2, which somehow got left off their canon,
Yeah.
a little song called Master Race.
Did that get left off of Future Song?
Yeah. Number 3, Victory of Death.
Okay.
4, Howard Beach. Which ended up on one of the records,
Yes, it
but they...
changed.
Yes. Money for the Unemployed, number 5. Definitely getting this Pete Steele bag right here.
Right. So for listeners younger than a certain age, weirdly, the welfare system was...
People were real mad about that.
for
Big mad. For dudes that didn't pay taxes.
Yes. Yes.
Be like, yo, if I pay taxes, I'd be real mad right now.
Yes. It was such a big deal for just like 4 bands.
And Pete Steele wrote them for everyone, I think.
Yeah.
Money for the Unemployed. Number 6, Lying Coke Bitch.
Okay.
Number 7, America. Also a
Line
sketch
Coke
song.
bitch feels too on the nose
If,
to be faked.
Lying 8. Number 8, Panic Attack. Number 9, Survival of the Fittest. Number 10, Howard Beach Reprise.
oh, thank you.
Oh, okay.
And 11, Outro Skinny Song.
Outro skinny song.
Yeah. So there was some sketchy shit going on in there.
Man.
And then something happened and they forgot about it. And good for them, I guess. I don't know. People change. Maybe they
You know
don't.
what? Sometimes you change. Your ideas evolve. Other times, a record label tells you that songs like Master Race are not going to go over well.
Not gonna float.
So,
Maze Records, who all I know, they put out Biohazard and the First Year Terror record, or one of the early Year Terror records. Yeah.
Biohazard Deep Dive coming soon. It's going to be 5 hours long.
What is being said on the?
Edge before come repronouncer. Weighing 90
so we're
he's
watching
there. They fixed it up.
the closed caption. Just went insane.
Of WrestleMania. There's Ricochet. The next guy that comes out, hardcore dude, Incendiary does the song for him.
Oh, nice. Andrew Clark asks us, been a huge fan of the Mosh Madness and Patreon episodes. Keep it up. Thank you. Just caught up. Do not listen to anyone saying less sports. It's almost baseball season, so please devote episode time to highlights. All right. On the discussion of it's possible for a band to be too heavy, I'm surprised.
I'm so tired.
He's pushing the limits.
He
Testing
is,
the
he
limits
is.
of infinite. He's on
He
his
is.
Jay Pepito.
My fucking headache, man.
I know.
We haven't
on this-
eaten in 12
we haven't
hours.
eaten
Oh,
for
you
12.
did. You had a little
Motherfucker,
something.
you
had the most
grocery
food, yeah.
store worth of food.
Yeah, no, I'm
I
killing
had a
it.
bagel
I'm
today.
killing
He
it.
did
I'm
share me
killing
some.
it.
On the discussion of it's possible
give
for
me
a
shit.
band to be too heavy, I'm surprised Baltimore legends Stout weren't brought up. Surely they are the most ignorant band of the last decade. They certainly are on the line of too heavy, but his guest spot on TUI's Believe is one of the greatest cameos ever.
That's true.
Let's answer this. Stout. Thoughts? Feelings?
You know, I only know the TUI cameo.
Purely regional. It's a bit like
It's very, very Baltimore.
I'm trying to think. There's a lot of towns have their equivalent. There is certainly a Pittsburgh version that whose name escapes me.
Union 731. Unit.
Unit 731. That's not who I was thinking of, but
Built upon frustration.
Built Upon
Contagious.
Frustration is
Built Upon
certainly in
Is that
the
who you're
Stout.
thinking of?
Yes,
Yes.
that is who I was thinking of.
Thank you. Good night.
But ran into the kid from Unit on the train here in New York the other day. Works on TV. But a lot of cities have the thing that's never going to leave their city necessarily, but is revered because it turned people on in their city.
Yeah.
And Stout is largely that. Could they do like if they chose to promote themselves a little bit more? Could they do the festival circuit? Yeah, sure.
Make a shirt that says Stout, has a picture of Cal Ripken Jr. and like some what's that, Old Bay seasoning?
Yes.
And it just says Baltimore's best.
Baltimore's finest. Okay.
Baltimore's finest.
That is heavy.
I don't think it's too heavy.
No, I don't think it's too heavy.
No. Also, a couple weeks back, you compared Death Wish to the Red Sox. Who is their David Ortiz? My vote is blacklisted. Consistent home runs with each record, but touring shows output is more consistent with a David Ortiz, with the DH. I'm going to say, this is a great question. Who is their Manny? Who is their Manny?
Who is their Manny? Who is a fun...
somewhat controversial, but still fun.
Yeah,
maybe
fun.
Cold World?
Oh, yeah, they could be
the
Manny.
most Manny. All right, who's their Pedroia? Is Pedroia's a little bit more I think Touche's Pedroia.
I think Embrace Today is Pedroia.
No, Embrace Today is Tim Wakefield.
No, didn't Pedroia have some... Pedroia had some bad moments, though, right? Like, he could be a dick. Because Touche can't be a dick.
I don't think he did. I thought he was a nice guy. Am I wrong about that?
No, he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then
Pedroia
he's
was
out.
like a
Then
straight
he's not.
dick.
Kind of like one of those guys that it's like, because he's like...
It might be my Yankee lens here.
No, I think you're
nice
right.
guy?
I feel like he's a guy that, like, if an African American player did it, everyone would hate him. But he's rugged. He's just he's a grinder.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he's a bastard who like breaks legs or whatever the fuck, you know.
Yo, how bad was that narrative around the Red Sox in that one winning year where it was like look how scrappy they all are.
Right.
Like,
I'm going to put fake blood on my sock.
2004.
Yeah. You bullshit artist.
Who is their... What's his name? Blood and Sock.
Oh, fuck.
Schilling. Kurt Schilling. Who's their Kurt Schilling?
Well, who's their right wing band?
Self-defense. I'll take it because nobody wants to be Kurt Schilling. I'll be
Because he's right wing. No, he right wing.
And so is Patrick.
Because because I've also tried to finance.
Worst possible Patrick.
Yeah,
I've also tried to finance my own MMORPG fantasy game as Kurt Schilling did.
Yeah, did you know he failed so bad?
Fuck.
So much money. All right, this one's too much. All right. Hey y'all, this has been on my mind for a while. But do you guys have any opinions on the band Venia? Venia?
I don't even know who it is.
They were a Christian hardcore band from Minneapolis, and I would assume 80% of the region's introduction to hardcore, at least people in my age range. They toured like crazy, but always seemed to be dismissed in other regions, assumingly because of their affiliation with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, that'll do
They
it.
released the record and all their standout EP, I've Lost All Faith in Myself, on Blood and Ink Records.
Yep.
That Davey Quiggle again?
No, Tyler is asking us this. I'm listening.
No, I thought Blood and Ink was...
Right.
No Quiggle association.
While I'm listening to all these Mosh Madness records, I can't help but think the last Venia EP, and I might be saying that wrong, so Venia...
Venereal.
Yeah, Venia EP holds up with the majority of them and is by far more interesting musically than a lot of them.
That might be
certainly
true. I don't know.
biased being from Minnesota, but I'm curious to hear how you guys' views on them, if they were on the radar.
No radar whatsoever.
All right.
There is no radar on which this band exists.
Not on mine. I responded, certainly not on my radar, though I most certainly heard of them, and I think I might have been wrong. Seems like they're on the more big club metalcore tip. Please don't take that as a dismissal. We'll check it out. It's weird because they started more metalcore, but the last EP featured Jason from Strongarm and have a much more raw traditional sound. I think it went under the radar because of the past LPs and reputation as a Christian band.
Yeah, so Christian hardcore was popping.
That's your lane. So.
Yeah, that's all I listened to. It was popping until it wasn't. You know what I mean? And then
they were around from 06 to 12.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So they were, I mean...
Yeah, that's a run for a hardcore band, certainly.
Relatively recent.
Well, let's look for Venia.
I feel like I've seen their logo.
No, you're thinking of Vane. Because
I think I'm thinking of
Vanna.
Vanna is what I'm thinking of.
Okay, so
isn't that the band that faked their last show?
Yeah, I believe so. So Venia, I'm gonna go with their Spotify listens are not strong, but I'm not holding that against anybody. Obviously, we're talking about hardcore music, but I think that they probably did tour quite a bit. They're from the Midwest, and you don't have any options there. You got to get out. You got to tour. Mm-hmm. And I'm not taking anything away from their hustle. God bless, whatever. But this is not a band that was on anybody's radar that I'm aware of. Correct?
Not on mine.
I'll give it a listen though. I don't give a fuck. As far as them bringing in the guy from Strongarm as like here's some hardcore music, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'll give it a shot though. I don't give a fuck.
All right. From Anonymous.
Yeah.
Hey, all. First of all, big fan of the podcast.
Thank you, Anonymous.
I've been living overseas for going on 8 years, and I would honestly be totally lost and missing out on so many great bands and releases if you guys weren't doing this thing. So really, seriously, really, really appreciate what you're all doing with this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Although it still really makes me bummed to never see these bands live. Although we got Turnstile, Judge, and Radioactivity in the past year, and Cult Leader in a few weeks here in Jakarta. So at least some bands are coming through.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the topic of this email, and apologies for this long, possibly boring explanation. I didn't think it was.
No, really not.
So yes, you can flee student loans by leaving the U.S. and other debt. And there's really not much anyone can do. I know this because I've done this. Don't at me or use my name. That's why we're not.
Okay, all right.
When I left the U.S., he says apparently, I'll say allegedly. I allegedly had some credit card debts hanging over my head, and definitely allegedly a lot of alleged student loans. Allegedly. So far, I haven't paid any of it back, and my credit score is actually fine. Part of the perks of being outside the country for so long, stuff falls off your credit report after a certain number of years. The loans don't go away. You still always owe it, but there's little recourse from the collectors. Articles like this, link, claim you can't do this, arguing that it will be impossible to establish a line of credit and they'll end up unbanked.
I don't think that's true at all.
This is total bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
Any country gives you a bank account with a stay visa and plenty of other let you open an offshore account, Singapore, Cyprus, the Caribbean, without even living there. That's how money laundering works.
Yeah, that's cool.
Also, other countries don't necessarily use lines of credit. In most of Asia, you just pay most or all of your rent up front or a hefty fee to rent an apartment. This is the same for everyone, not just foreigners. I love that kind of.
Yep.
So really, in the short term, it's not a bad idea. I do plan to repay my alleged loans eventually, probably going to start soon. But even then, being overseas puts you in a much better bargaining position.
I'm in.
On Cambodia?
Yeah, okay.
I think it's some racist white people shit to say that Cambodia is poor because the Khmer Rouge killed intelligent people.
I don't know, you're killing 1 million people. It might matter.
And I'm saying this as a guy who has repeatedly been to the country and has friends who lived there long term. You hear this sentiment in a lot of you hear this sentiment a lot in the country by sort of shitty expats. Pol Pot killed all the smart people. But he also killed all the people with glasses. And I've seen plenty of kids wearing those. So that can't be the reason it's broke. I think what happens was that people left. When the purges began, Cambodians with the means to flee, the middle class and those with ties to French colonial power structures, got the hell out of there. Others, the ones who survived the Khmer Rouge or were born after it, also left because the period after a genocide isn't the best economically.
No,
strong argument.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there are much wealthier countries due east and due west. Think about it this way. An estimated 1.5 million were killed in the death camps, which is nearly the same number of Cambodians right now working and living in Thailand alone. There are hundreds of thousands of former refugees elsewhere as well. Cambodia is poor, but its government is built on cronyism and corruption and has kept that nation that way. Hun Sen would rather enrich himself and his family than actually invest in the place he's supposed to be running. If you're interested in learning more, and you have time, like on, say, a cross-country train ride, I suggest checking out the book, Cambodia's Curse. It's a pretty good read after what happened to the country after the Khmer Rouge. Anonymous. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Anonymous.
Great email. So I think that solves our question.
Sure.
We can all flee the student debt.
We're done.
Do it, Tom.
And then come back in later on and be like, oh, hey.
We'll be dead.
Yeah.
We
what
will be
do you
dead.
mean?
I mean, the world's going to be
There
ending
will
in
be
like 20 years.
there will be
Doesn't
no
matter.
United States.
Yeah, no more.
Yeah, like the world will end before my loans do.
That's true, actually.
That's right.
Banks will outlast the United States. There's no question.
No question.
Yeah.
Bank of America. Fuck, it's Prelude.
So, QAnon. So, okay.
Stop doing that shit because people can believe that shit.
What, that we're all QAnon,
QAnon,
agents?
fucking 8chan nonsense.
I don't even know what QAnon really is.
No one does.
Okay.
There's probably a bunch of idiots fucking trolling, and then all the right-wing idiots go, see?
Almost certainly.
I wish we knew any internet edgelords who would be able to help us.
Yeah,
with
really.
This. All right. Any feelings on fleeing the student loans? You're still hesitant.
The only reason why I'm hesitant is because I like my family.
I know.
If it wasn't that, I'd be like, fuck it.
All right.
Like, if I didn't have, like, my mom, my sisters, if it was like, oh, I could stay here or, like, move somewhere else, catch me in Dublin tomorrow. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Let's send them some materials and say, heavy suggestion. Like, why don't we all just?
Yeah, but they got kids and families and shit.
Kids
Can live in Dublin.
True, but they're
shipping
in, like,
up to Dublin.
Yeah. I live in Donegal. That's where my family's from. It's apparently like the Alabama of Ireland. They're like, oh, you're like a redneck, and that's what I was told by an Irish man. So yeah,
the only family that I have over there owns a horse farm, and that's not vegan. So
you're related to Kitzel?
So fuck 'em. Yes, it's me and Kitzel. We're running the horse farm together.
Hello, everyone at A2GHQ.
Thank you.
What's up? Want to ask if you have any thoughts about Glassjaw. I know they're not like traditional hardcore, but they seem to come from a background of that stuff. I personally enjoy their newest album a lot more than their first because it touches on the heavy side a lot more. Hope you all have a good day. He also says, Donut Friend has the best vegan donuts. I want to discuss that more. Did people really? I think people like to come to us to talk about Glassjaw.
They do. Odd. We get asked this a lot.
Yeah,
I think I always defend the demo on the first record. I think that there's merit to the second record. I don't know if I've heard. Oh, I definitely heard the last one. It didn't make an impact on me.
Okay.
I think that there was a time that Glassjaw was, if not considered hardcore, then 100% in the conversation. That time has now passed, and they are firmly seen as kind of a relic of their era. That's not a diss, because honestly, some of their music is better than the like more quote unquote legitimate contemporaries.
I think people who are favorable to them putting them in kind of a post-hardcore world.
Post-hardcore, I think is that could work. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think anyone's denying them that.
Okay,
you know?
Then yeah, that's my stance on it. I don't revisit it very often, but on the hierarchy of things that I like, don't love, I'm not mad at it ever. Put it on.
Me?
Yes.
Me talk now?
Yeah, you had beef with Glassjaw.
Why did you put my business out there? I didn't have beef with them. Nobody's got beef with me. Everybody loves me, fam.
No, your people did. If you ride for the band, then
it was way after I was out of the band. But
is that true?
Yeah, they had some kind of issue, and then Glassjaw said some. Well, the singer said some like nice stuff about us.
Yeah.
And then they were supposed to play a festival with us in Florida. Something happened. They didn't come.
Yeah, that'll happen.
They canceled like right beforehand. Rumors got out that they were afraid we have some ties to the South. Some radical atheists down there.
Yeah.
That they were afraid that shit was going to pop off, so they didn't show. That was a rumor I had heard. I actually quite like them. The Don Fury demo, I don't know if that's like out there, but it's fucking great.
Yeah, we talked about this last.
Yeah, we did
an episode or two ago.
I like Everything You Know About Silence. That Worship and Tribute record got half and half.
Yep.
That last record did 0.
Yeah, it just didn't hit me.
I think they're fake big.
Confirmed.
That's true. Confirmed.
Yeah. I think they were on some tour with The Used.
Sounds right.
That because this is funny. So it was supposed to be The Used and Sum 41.
Okay.
Right. Sum 41 drops off. I don't know, either to do fucking festivals or like the production, whatever the hell it was.
Yep.
So they didn't change the rooms.
Oh, wow.
So they're thinking like, this is a replacement. You don't realize how big Sum 41 is until you replace them with Glassjaw. And like the New York show, they played Terminal 5. 3,200 cap.
Yeah.
They did half.
Honestly, half is better than I would have thought for the fucking Used in 2018. Great.
Still low-key big, but those two bands together, 1,600 people. Not great.
No. Although if you're filling 1,600 caps,
you're doing all right.
You're doing fine.
Sure, but could you imagine though? Like they were expecting to sell that show out because of Sum 41.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Like that band is still a thing.
Oh, it's very big.
Could you see them on the festivals? Aren't you playing a festival with them?
They're headlining a festival that I'm playing in Europe.
Oh boy.
Yeah, wherever the fuck that is. Drug Church is playing the funniest festivals this summer, and Sum 41 is playing at least one of them.
That's so fucking crazy.
They're big.
All right, let's address the more important question here.
Tell me.
He says Donut Friend has the best vegan donuts in the country.
Okay, versus what?
Let's do what's it? Dunwell.
There's Voodoo, Dunwell, and Ronald's. And then
Ronald's is not good. Voodoo's all right.
Yeah, Voodoo's all right.
There's a few spots in California. There's a spot in Huntington.
What's the spot in Seattle that went fully vegan?
I spread my ass cheeks and I shit on it. That's the name of it.
Wow.
I spread my white
vegan
fucking butt
treats.
cheeks.
Why are you saying these things?
Because he hates it so much.
I hate.
Can we talk about Bret Hart getting tackled at the Hall of Fame?
If you
Fucked up.
try to sell me a cake donut
Yes.
and you
correct.
charge me money, you're lucky I don't burn your motherfucking place down.
I like a cake donut.
You like a cake donut. You don't love a cake donut. Nobody on earth has loved a cake
Why
donut.
are you yelling?
All right,
man?
so-
It's fucking-
I get mad about
Dunwell
this.
does very good. Dunwell does very good.
Dunwell does very well. They're great.
Vegan treats.
What if I've had a vegan treat donut? But they're-
specialize in
The
cake,
brownies,
but
the cakes.
but they do a good Boston cream, and
Yeah,
we're
right.
doing it a long time ago. They're the ones you could get at Michael and Zoe's, or then what's it called? Now?
Atlas.
Atlas, right? They
Right.
supplied all that.
There is a vegan donut place down near you that you can make your own.
Oh yeah, those are all cake.
Oh, not make your own, but you go like,
Like purple haze, purple glaze,
yes, Purple Glaze.
Purple Glaze,
I like
yeah.
that place. It was in Asbury Park. You can
Yeah,
get
pretty
vegan
good.
donut.
cake
they're all
donut,
cake, though.
Cake
donuts.
donut.
So
And
that's
there was another
I-
one that's in like I don't know.
Papa Ganache.
No, another
Papa
place
Ganache
like
does
that.
some vegan and gluten-free bakery in northern Monmouth County.
Let me say something that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that I go to Seattle, some Seattleite,
Tries to sell
New
you.
Jack fucking neophyte
Uh-huh.
tries to fucking sell me on a cake donut. So I'm clear. I'll eat a cake donut if it's vegan and there's no alternative.
Yes.
If the alternative is licking a sidewalk, I'm 50-50 on this. A cake donut is butthole.
Whole Foods does dabble in non-cake donut vegan donuts. Had a couple. If you go to the one in Austin, like HQ,
I'm thinking of
they
Mighty
do some
O.
good ones. Mighty O.
That's the vegan spot I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it Mighty O?
I don't know.
Let me see.
No, it is.
Mighty O.
Because
Where is it?
It's in all throughout Seattle,
Oh, that's the Seattle one. No, I've never been there.
but
But
it's
that's
awesome.
not the cake one.
No, I don't believe
I
so.
think the cake one's called something else.
But here's the deal. It was
Diarrhea
pretty
bird.
awesome. They were a vegan donut place. Didn't really then promoted it as a vegan donut. The minute they stopped saying they were vegan,
Popped
went
off.
through the roof.
Yep.
And they opened 3 different locations.
Wow. I think
So
it's
wait,
tough. Don't non-vegan. Let me just tell you the story. Amanda stopped being vegan some years ago, mostly just because she wanted health, protein, whatever. She just decided, hey, I want to do something different. I would sometimes get donuts at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
They are fine.
Okay.
Totally fine. Get a
Yeah,
Half dozen glazed?
Amanda had one. I know I had just like the couple, like 2, 3, and I'd get there was a chocolate covered French cruller, had chocolate frosting on the top, and I was eating it. And she's like, "All right, let me try this. I'll try a bite." She had a bite and she went, "Are they always this good?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? It's fine." And she's like, "This is how good they are all the time when you get them." I'm like,
supermarket
"Yes,
donuts?
yes." And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." And she's like, "So this is the quality that you get at the supermarket 2 minutes from our house versus us like going to New York and making a special stop at Dunwell."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "And these are like kind of better than Dunwell." And I'm like, "Yeah, kind of.
Oh, I don't know.
They're pretty
Dunwell's
good,
pretty
man."
dope, man.
Dunwell's I have both. I tried both.
But a good
one from a
good Wegmans.
yeah.
I don't know. I've
Good
never-
Wegmans donut.
Yo,
not
man,
bad,
here's
man.
the deal:
the
is
last
that
non-vegan
a good,
donut I had
Yes.
was probably a Dunkin' donut.
Yeah, that's a sad state.
Yeah,
which is a
that's why you
depression
fucked
donut.
up.
Depression donut.
You've been
DD.
vegan since what's the other place? What's the donut place?
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme has been around.
Yes, likely.
Yes, I've never experienced Krispy Kreme.
So
I've never eaten a Krispy
So
Kreme.
like, there's a lightness to a regular donut
Mm-hmm.
that like I've yet to find in the vegan version.
Okay.
It can be so light and airy. You can eat a donut and you don't feel like you ate anything except pure nirvana.
Okay.
It doesn't hit your stomach at all. Imagine eating something that tastes so good, but then it doesn't nothing.
Low impact. Okay.
It's so amazing. Anyways, I will argue for Dunwell being the best vegan donuts.
Really?
that
So
I can think of.
you don't think Donut Friend is in this conversation?
No, I don't really think so. I
Really?
think it's good. I just don't think it's that great.
I mean, I think it's like a pure sugar shot in a way that can be debilitating. Like if you have
yeah,
diabetes, you
that's a
should
lot
never
of that's a
fuck
lot of
with it.
donut places. The other part is that's hurting Donut Friend is that as a non-vegan, There's so many donut options
Yeah.
in Southern California, all mom and pop
Oh, sure,
spots
yes.
that are fucking rocking. Unbelievable. Like, that's the move. You want the best donuts in the country? Go to the mom and pop spots down in
yeah,
Southern
that's
California. Because they're great.
Is that the? Would you say that's the center of the donut hole?
The Donuttery in Huntington Beach does a bunch of vegan donuts.
Tremendous.
It's okay. Yeah, I wish I liked it more. A lot of cake donuts, though, too.
Fuck your fucking cake donut.
I like your rage about the cake
Makes me
donuts. Make
so
me feel
mad,
so
man.
good.
Not because
We're
I-
on a food wavelength right now that I've been feeling.
Not 'cause
Pro soup, anti-cake donut.
There we go.
Non-core questions, part 3.
Okay, all right.
We're going to send some life into this party. Do you send food back at restaurants? Answer at the same time.
No.
No.
No. Do not.
You would only if it wasn't like, hey, there's cheese on this.
Yes. I just choose not to eat there again if I think the food is trash.
Is there an
Will you
amount?
finish it?
I'll finish some real fucking garbage in my
Same.
life.
Dude, he finished the thing.
Yes.
True.
The schnitzel
It's
or
a
whatever,
thing.
whatever the knish.
Is there an amount of money you'd accept to spend 365 days in prison? If so, how much? Yes. I would trade 1 year of my life in prison for enough money for the next 20 years of my life. So do the math on that. Let me say I want to live at a 6-figure. So I want $2 million.
Okay.
Right? Yes, $2
There
million.
is no amount of money
365.
that I would spend a year in maximum or medium. No,
Okay.
no amount of money.
Okay.
Low security?
Yeah, let's go low security.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I'm going low security. My assumption was that I'm going to go in and
Like a white collar crime.
yeah, like I don't get to go anywhere else, but
Yes.
like I'm pretty comfortable otherwise.
Oh,
Like, you know what I mean?
Are you kidding? I'll do
know.
it. Are you kidding?
I know that's what
I
I'm saying.
have
wanna
somewhere to
go-
live now?
Yeah. I'll do
That's
that.
my option.
Rent free?
I'll do that for $100,000.
You know, theoretically, if you went to prison in like a low security, like we need to find those crimes because it's just free housing.
Free housing.
You can
I
work writing comics.
I was gonna say, run my business from inside.
We'll come visit once a week and do a podcast.
go.
There we go.
Yeah, no amount for max, no amount for medium, $100,000 for low.
Here.
I would do it for probably $2 million.
Yeah, $2 million.
Rikers would be different.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
If it was
real
like,
serious stuff,
straight
I
up
don't really
like
wanna-
federal or state,
Yep.
That's a different.
like the OGs are there and they're not trying to fuck with you. They're
Yeah,
just trying
no,
to
I'm
get through
not
this
feeling-
bid. I would do a year for like $2 million.
Yeah?
Yeah.
$2 million feels real nice because then the next 20 are free.
Tax free.
You guys are also a little bit bigger than me.
Yeah.
Prison not. I don't wear prison well. You know what I mean? Like it's not for me. So, yeah, it would. It's a non-starter.
When you draw a dollar sign, do you draw one line or two through the S?
Oh well, if it's
When you actually write
small
it.
enough, then I have to do one. And
Two.
if I have my druthers, it's two.
Yeah, two. Go Bravo.
I go 2.
Which of the three of you wins in a game of horse? Me.
Bob probably. I would come close.
Do you know what horse is?
I do.
Do you know it's like doing trick shots and stuff?
Yeah.
That's the reason I'd probably beat Tom because I do some weird shit. I've got a great hook.
Okay. Well, I have no hook, so there you go.
All right.
Layups don't count.
Can you do layups?
Yes.
Can you do a layup with your left hand?
Yes.
Can you do a reverse layup?
Up and under.
Can you do a finger roll?
I mean, I'm 5'10", so this is a struggle. Maybe.
You know, height's not an issue for a
Maybe.
finger roll. I would win.
I don't know.
I'm so excited. I think I'm joining a gym that has a basketball court indoor.
No
I'm
shit.
So fucking psyched.
Dope.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So that's where we're gonna have the horse.
There
Yes,
you go.
correct.
You better learn how to fucking
that's
hit that glass, baby. You
I
gotta
lo-
pull it.
do
pull
kids
the
play
bank.
knockout? Knockout's so fun, man.
Yeah, I think they do. They just call different things.
Okay, knockout's fun.
Suicide?
Okay, maybe
Knockout, yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I think they changed the name after that.
Oh,
Probably.
really?
Yeah, they changed that. Well, they call it something else, I think.
Oh, so it's not knockout anymore because they made it suicide, and then suicide had to be changed. So now it's
It's probably just like, hey, me first. No, that's it. You go sit
Pingle
down
dingle.
yeah okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, don't
something
pingle his
non-threatening.
dingle. Oh.
Something
Did
non-threatening.
you know the first Stegosaurus fossil was found in Colorado? I think I did.
No, I
don't
can
really know.
confirm I did not.
Okay. Tom's like, I don't care.
I don't know. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool.
Mind blown.
Oh, okay. This one, Tom, I'll ask you first.
Thanks.
Does Patrick look like a sibling of Tony Hawk's, but one who has some sort of serious illness? Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah. I would
does.
say like
Have you ever
off.
gotten that you look a little bit like
Yes.
Tony Hawk?
Oh, yeah.
like an
You should play that up.
Oh yeah.
Patrick Hawk.
Yeah. Oh no, I should do my.
You're
hair
like an
just him.
insomniac, like Tommy Hawk, but
Yes.
like with insomnia.
It's me.
How do we feel about the Porzingis trade? New York Knicks not wanting to pay King Zing a max deal. Now have room for 2-star contracts.
Well, knowing what's going on right now.
All-star in Knox, potential lottery pick this year. Kristaps didn't want to be there. From what I've heard, not the most pleasant fella either.
Is that right?
Yeah, and had charges, which the Mavericks know about.
Allegation.
Yeah, allegations. I'm sorry, big difference.
I'd
in
urge
charges.
everybody to look into it. The facts are actually insane.
Okay, not the most pleasant fella, and in reality,
It's gonna break down.
he's 7'3" and has had a lot of serious injuries.
Already. Yeah.
And all right, potential future All-Star in Knox. I hate to say this, Knox is a homeless man's Rudy Gay. Enough said.
Wow.
Potential lottery pick, definitely lottery pick. So good luck. What this question I'm almost insulted by. Do you know what microfiche is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
We're all
old
of an
enough.
age.
Yeah.
Jesus. Does,
Unfortunately, I know what microfiche is. I know what the Dewey Decimal System
I
is.
know. Card
Yes.
catalogs. I know
Yes.
how to use them. Yeah, I've
100%.
used microfiche. Yes. Is the main synthesizer riff from Nine Inch Nails, Head Like a Hole, the biggest waste of a monster riff ever?
Possibly.
That song would be so hard if a capable
Possibly.
band covered it.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It would sound like fucking Du hast.
Yeah.
Du hast mich.
I think you put that one of you weird Nine Inch Nails core bands rip that and do something good with it. Love
That one
Mike
used to
Lawson.
cover my.
Is that true?
Yeah,
I
I think
believe
they
that.
used to open with that song Pinion.
Damn.
This is the first day.
All right,
of
let's
my
see.
last day. You fuck with Nine Inch Nails at all?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I'm not even.
Downward Spiral.
Downward Spiral is where I end. We're
Yeah.
like halfway through. I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
But I've seen them since, and they play songs that I'm like, I don't even know the song.
It's
But
good?
it's so awesome because I'm tripping on acid, bro.
What drug would you do at a concert if you were doing a drug?
Well, what kind of concert? Like a Hatebreed concert? Fucking ripping a line so I could circle pit like a fucking maniac. If it's like Nine Inch Nails, probably take some shrooms.
Okay, Tool.
Probably smoke some dubs.
Self-defense. Pills.
Heroin, just to kill myself.
All right, let's see. Patrick's not pleased by this edgelord over there. He's
No.
signing his name with an X right now. What are you getting? You going to read us about Kristaps Porzingis?
No.
But the story's wild. But the only drug that remotely appeals to me is meth because it just gives you more energy.
Coke too, right?
Yeah, Coke
What's the
too.
blast
But
shit?
Coke,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to anybody. I hate the way when people
Yeah.
are on cocaine and they just keep
And you can
talking.
tell
the
when
way
your
it
teeth are
feels.
grinding and
Oh.
sweaty.
Oh,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
so annoying.
Like, we see you. I know
What if you
don't
just
think
did,
so,
but
but
if
we
you
know.
did it by yourself at night so you could work through some stuff? I feel like that's
maybe.
useful.
Well, you just fuck with some Adderall instead.
That's true. Give me the Addies. Devin asks, we're wrapping this up soon. I'm slow talking because I'm tired.
Yeah, no,
We're all like slurring.
Yeah.
It's like,
We on 12 hours of shit
I
right
feel
now.
like you guys are fading and I'm just ramping up. I want to
Oh, cool,
yell.
'cause you
and
ate
Do you want to
for
go?
fucking
Yeah,
supermarket
my
work.
bagel with fucking chicken.
Yeah, you guys are crashing on the carb
All right.
crash.
I was curious what you guys thought about the purpose of merch in 2019.
Make
Personally,
money, I think.
I look at merch as a way to support bands and to potentially shed light on the band to people who are unfamiliar. It may sound corny, but being purposeful in the merch you wear to what show, or especially if you're playing a show, I think is pretty important.
Wow.
The number of
think of that.
times I made friends with people over a shirt, whether it was a band I liked or a band I hadn't heard of but thought the design was rad. It seems like more and more I just see the same several bands merch at most shows and not smaller, lesser known, less big but just as good bands. Do you think purposely buying merch from smaller bands is done? Do you think I'm a maniac and think way too deep into what shirt to wear? Side note, fuck anyone who tries to quiz you on merch you're wearing if it's an older band. Stay up, keep grinding. DevDog.
Confirm that DevDog is a maniac. That's
Yeah, DevDog, you a maniac.
That's confirmed.
But our kind of maniac, I like
We
it.
love you. Maniac.
I'm gonna say
That's for sure.
Firstly, that made me realize what a different place I'm in mentally because if I wear a shirt and I'm like, oh no, people are gonna talk to me, you know what I mean? But DevDog wants people to talk to him, so that's a different thing. But,
But I don't think DevDog is from Brooklyn
That's
or
true.
New York. I think he's from...
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so like, it's like the old days, like when people were like, "Oh shit,
that's
you like
right.
Youth today? That's
Yeah.
cool. I like Slayer, but it's close." You know what I mean?
Both
Like
carry
it's
guitars.
Core recognized, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? This is DevDog is obviously a very focused individual, and I can't relate to that. But I would say that sort of on stage, I think that there's an argument to be made, and I never thought about it applying to people in the audience, but.
Like when you wear the onesie of a NASCAR driver, you're clearly trying to expose people to the sport.
Yeah. Yes,
that
correct.
person. So you get Google me, you'll realize I died in a fiery wreck.
A lot of people, that's true. A lot of people think of motorsports as for like rednecks and fucking idiots and shit.
But no, it's for independent musicians as well.
Precisely, rugged individualists. On stage, I think it really can matter in a way that I am oftentimes shocked to learn. You know what I mean? Like people will say, "I checked that band out because, whatever band guy was wearing that shirt." I never thought about that, but that's certainly a thing that happens, and maybe bands.
Maybe you should do that now that drug church is a thing.
Yeah, maybe to be mindful. Whatever.
Does that mean we need to invest in more Yuppicide shirts?
Yes, it's a big investment though.
Why don't you ask them if you can just make them?
You know what? If I was living true to my sensibilities, where I don't think that vintage matters on any level and it's
Correct.
embarrassing, then I probably just would. Yeah, but for some reason I'm a hypocrite, and you
want the real thing.
I have an
baby.
emotional attachment to this particular item.
Why don't you just start wearing? Why don't we just write Yuppicide on that shirt right
Done.
now? All right, we're in. Purpose of merch: to make money, to help bands make money, and no one should be sad about that. It's help labels make money. It's to give you something cool to wear. But
also, we're
we're
not in a merch era. Nobody should be complaining about anything.
No.
We could take you on a magic carpet ride back to merch eras, and your mind would explode if you have any problem with what it is now.
Yeah, and I think bands aren't making as much off of records anymore.
Yeah,
that's right. So, and even when they were, good for them. Bands make shirts to help pay the bills, to pay the gas, to get to here and there, and hopefully do well with it and make it so that they can go tour more. All those things are good. Same thing with labels. Labels make shirts so they can make some money and help put out more records and do the damn thing. Cool story. Your decisions on merch, cool. I actually like and appreciate the energy you're trying to bring, which is I want to show love. Yeah, I want to show love. I want to support this. Big shout out to the dudes from Floor Punch who lit that band of high school guys, Brute from
Jersey, right?
From New Jersey, from South Amboy, play, and South Amboy or Perth Amboy, one of the Amboys, Ambush City. There you go, shout out. Play, and that's the next level. Is like not just are we gonna share some of our shine with a band, we're gonna have them play, but a big band wearing a new band shirt, that always helps a little bit of shine. Whether you know it or not, as we discussed with Mosh Madness. There's a level in which people look to the bands they like to inform them on what else they should like. That's cool.
No debate.
I'm not mad about that. Tom, you thought about it?
No, yeah, I think it's cool. I think I don't know. I appreciate bands that put thought into not to their fucking wardrobe. I think that's corny, but people, it's hey, I'm going to be up there in front of X amount of people. I'd like them to know about this band or this cause or
sure.
And I think merch is big for touring bands, especially because Spotify ain't paying your bills.
No.
And I think that's probably the biggest way you can help a band, more than buying their album off of them. You can probably make more money off a shirt.
Very likely.
Right.
Yes. There's reasons to buy music too, but yeah.
Oh no,
the direct action to buy stuff off their table and hand their money to the person selling it. You do a good thing. How long is this episode? We got 2 hours?
We're not at 2 hours, but we're definitely at an hour and a half. So,
all right, let's go. We got a couple questions here. We'll do it. Adam asks, do you think the current attitudes of more recent hardcore trends are reflexive as an inverse of modern comic books?
I'm sorry.
I'm a little confused. I.e., whereas hardcore in the 80s, as a whole, was more straightforward in its message, and comics became more, maybe self-aware isn't the best term, open with challenging the ideas and attitudes towards the medium, whereas now, comic books are far more keen to have fake outrage and controversies, while being, for the most part, kind of not challenging or throwing
That's true.
new ideas out.
It's a
and with
fact,
hardcore now is more about challenging things, be it musically or lyrically.
I don't find this era particularly challenging lyrically in hardcore at all.
No, I don't think it's, and I don't actually think that it's more challenging or less challenging than the 80s or 90s or 2000s. No. I don't think more or less. Hardcore was challenging in the 80s. If we're all actually being honest with ourselves, The most challenging thing about hardcore to people outside hardcore is the sound.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Let's be real. That's real. But once you're in, it's hopefully about exposing you to ideas.
But there's also been moments that are... it's all right. There's also been moments that are... hard to swallow messaging that right now just straight up does not exist in hardcore. And I say this, somebody is going to say, what about my friend's band from Appleton, Wisconsin that is talking about Yemen? Look, maybe on the micro level, but I'm a fairly plugged in person in hardcore music, and I can assure you that there is literally nothing more challenging than what was going on in the 90s. This is not me painting with rose-colored glasses because I don't have any. I don't own stock in the 90s. I don't care if it's more,
right.
It doesn't matter to me.
You think it was more challenging?
What's that?
You think it was more challenging?
I think it's undeniable. It's more challenging.
Why?
Take the vegan straight edge trend, which it fully was a trend,
yeah.
right? Fully. That wasn't clean living. That was advocating for the murder of vivisectionists.
Yeah, okay.
And that was on records that sold many, many copies.
Yeah.
So,
with soy-based things.
What's that? It was printed on 100% recycled paper with soy-based things. And I don't see anything within 100 yards of advocating for the murder of vivisectionists.
Well, I think, and I will say that I think a lot of that was performative.
Oh, sure, but we're just talking about.
But are we saying lyrically? No, I don't think so. I think that there's a level of awareness to lyrics now that are almost, they're self-conscious to not be so extreme because of the reflection of time and amount. People being like, oh yeah, that was a thing that happened. And, just as the 80s, similar levels of very extreme things were said, but not as specific. And I think the 90s did amp that up a little bit, especially more in hardcore per se, like specifically. So I think there's a self-consciousness that's like, I don't want to say something that's too extreme. And I think that might be also a condition that we've talked about, whereas like, even labels right now, people are kind of reluctant to label themselves straight edge,
sure, or
vegan or anything like as where they'd like a more flexible label.
Yep.
People
are very, very afraid right now. I think that'll change in the next year and a half, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be advocating for extreme positions. It might just mean that they're a little bit looser with their talk. But lyricists are desperately afraid. And it's reflectant in their work. I don't see anybody doing anything challenging.
And to compare it to comic books, I don't think. Do you think comic books in the 80s were challenging things? I think there were some independent stuff that was. Do you think mainstream stuff was at all?
Yes. So here's my thoughts on this. It's interesting that this person should ask because I thought a great deal about this yesterday.
Okay.
It was.
This is an old question too.
We look at comics for the highlights. We do this with music too.
Sure.
So actually, a great example would be how challenging were Atari lyrics. Contemporaries of Earth Crisis, right? So like...
Where were you when none of this was cool? Anywhere but here.
So the point is that there's... Even in the shadow of the most challenging thing, there's hundreds of acts doing things that are less challenging, correct?
Sure.
So... comic books, the same thing. I have very rose-colored glasses for essentially early Vertigo work.
I think the Vertigo stuff is
undeniable
work that was being challenging in an art form and medium. I think saying stuff now isn't challenging.
For our listeners, we're talking about direct market middle-brow comics. Yeah. There is always challenging things on the fringes.
On the fringes. But we're saying things that are making stands and are getting large runs,
things
basically.
An average person might have access to.
Yes, correct. So speaking on that, I just don't think you can even point anything else outside of Vertigo. I think the indie comic scene in the 80s maybe was a little edgier, but it wasn't more challenging. It was just... more risque in a public way that's shifted out a little differently. And I don't know if there's anything else that compares that, even to the decade before that. I think that might have been a time and space thing where I would like to see it become more challenging in that way, but I can't forecast that right now.
Continue to talk while I look up one thing.
Please do.
As they say in the podcast game.
Yes.
What I will say is it's a funny comparison to the two formats, and I do wonder a little bit about it because I wasn't huge on Vertigo when it was coming out, but I was very aware of it, and even just its existence impacted mainstream comics, the big two companies, and others around it. Shortly thereafter, it just had that kind of an impact. And then as I got older, I went and checked out some of that stuff and was like, wow, this is some pretty impressive stuff. What I'm curious about is any of this impacted by the fact that I was of a certain age and at the time that this was impacting and I could see it, and now I'm older and maybe I'm just missing on something in comics that's going on could be similar, but I just haven't felt that feeling. I've seen lots of creators come and go that I feel have been exciting, some bringing new elements or doing new things in the medium. I think we saw a giant shift in the way comics were written, cutting from the 80s to the early 2000s, and the way people use dialogue. That's an interesting, challenging thing, but it's not the same as what we're talking about here.
So yes, all true. I'm just for comparison's sake. Here's what I'm talking about. When for everything that shines, there's many things that don't, and it depends on what you're looking at the exact moment you're talking about it. Watchmen wrapped in 1987.
Yes.
That same year, G.I. Joe and Transformers were both huge books. So
huge. Can't be explained how big those books were.
So we're talking about now. Was there something in the ether? That's the same year that Kraven's Last Hunt happened. So certainly, the Question came out that year. You can argue that there was
Uncanny X-Men was never more popular. It was right there. There was a decent run on Avengers.
You can argue that there was something percolating and bubbling that couldn't be ignored, but there was also G.I. Joe and Transformers. What I mean? So there was also Atari.
They're dabbling in Saturday morning cartoon comic books.
Right.
The Ewok comics are pumping hard right there.
There you go. So
Tom, we're gonna bring you back soon.
Yeah.
I'm done.
He's cashed.
Oh, fuck.
All right, for Pat specifically, what's going on with Nobody Is in Control?
Oh, so
what is that?
It's my new comic. Publisher opted for a new printer to get a deal. Printer ran late. It is so it was pushed back. I approved everything from that printer. I mean, by the time you hear this,
it'll be out.
Issue 1 will be out. Certainly, issue 2 will be on the way.
Do you repeat anything?
How do you mean?
Do you do like any do you have titles, or is it like everything new?
Oh, everything's new because the market won't bear.
You don't have like a repeating.
This is the thing I keep busting him about because I think he's had a couple that have been strong enough that I really want him to push hard for a second run, because that's where you're going to gain traction. However, he knows it because he's an employed comic book writer, but he's dead right in that there's not. Unless you have a
character that really fucking
an immediate
clicks, right?
hit, immediate, they're not picking anything
Does that
up
make
right
it
now
tougher?
for a second. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Like for you creatively to not have something that like a trope you can like kind of base everything from.
I'll be honest, because I came of professional comic book career age during the 5, 6, if you're incredibly blessed, issue minis.
Yep.
I think in those terms. Also, comics have been written like that for the last
20
15
years,
maybe. Yeah.
It should have been 20, but yeah, 15.
Due to the trade, the way that they're collected.
Yeah.
So I actually have no problem writing like that. However, Bob's correct. Career-wise, you see many fewer superstars because superstars are typically made on long runs. And because the market / publishers won't bear long runs, it is very hard to be a proven star.
It's the equivalent in hardcore. Wow, that was a great fall. It's the equivalent in hardcore of a label being like, "Hey, we want to do a 7-inch for you." Put out 7-inch, does pretty well. Not crazy, but does pretty well. Doing well. And you're like, "Hey, we want to do another. We want to do another record." And like, nah. But if you want to change your name and do a different sound,
then we'll put that out. Got it.
And you're like, we don't want to do that. We want to kind of continue that energy. And like, yeah, no, but I mean, how about you have Rachel sing now?
So they signed the creator and not the creation.
They like what the creator does, and they want to keep testing the water with you. But for that second run, anything else, they need to see something right away. And it's so hard in this marketplace because you got to get your name out there. You're relying, essentially, you start to rely only on yourself as a brand who it's like, yeah, I like that guy's stuff. He's done 3 5-issue runs that I really like.
Right.
And so I'll continue to check it out until you get one that finally just explodes in a way that but if you necessitates that.
If you had 25 issues under your belt with the same project, you'd be able to obviously do a lot more, impress a lot more people. And
that's what we're seeing at the indie levels now, which I don't understand why publishers aren't looking at that and going, oh, almost all these indies that are getting to, say, not 25 issues, but maybe let's say 30, 40. Mm-hmm. Once you get 6 collections of material, I feel like everything that's semi-legitimate is getting Hollywood offers.
For sure, but the problem is that everything gets a Hollywood offer, so that now they feel... The upside just isn't there. You know what I mean? Like,
the money isn't there.
I feel like it would be easier. What you do is harder than having a character.
Oh, I agree with you on some level. But
you have some nucleus that you can build off of.
Right.
Right, and he's got a few that are super solid.
Career-wise, it's not easy.
You don't repeat characters or anything.
No, so
different worlds, basically.
Real quick to what you were saying. Yes, the way it works is I have repeat business with a few publishers because they believe in the quality of my work, but the actual properties didn't break out enough that they can bank on doing it again.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So I mean, it's the equivalent of like, I have a record label, I sign Self-Defense and Drug Church or whatever, and then they kind of like, well, all right, so Drug Church didn't, wasn't what I was looking for. Get to Self-Defense. And kind of...
Yeah, it's
they
really,
sign you no matter what your band is.
Well, I'm
but
fortunate
it's per project.
I'm fortunate enough that my work is of high enough quality that
people
are still willing to take chances.
Yes.
But that'll evaporate too, no matter how good I am. If
they're in a business.
Right. So really, I have to have a hit soon, or it's going to be increasingly difficult for me to get these gigs.
For Bob specifically, thoughts on the last Marvel multi-book comic arc?
Oh God.
Yeah, mine is either Inferno, which came out in like '87. Or the first Civil War. Or maybe he's talking about the newer Inferno reboot, which I didn't care for, so I don't think you're talking about that. Let's see. I gave what was that recent Avengers fucking run? I gave it a chance. I didn't much care for it. No Surrender, but I like the one artist who has a real Stuart Immonen vibe going on. I thought he was really strong, actually. I think the last one I thought was actually good was probably Civil War, and that was pretty good. Old Man Logan was fun. That's a fun one.
You should try Old Man Hawkeye.
Yeah, I'm reading that right now. Yeah. I like it. I got it on the Unlimited. For stuff that I think is really good, it's been a while. I like the Is it Brubaker and David Aja on Iron Fist? I really like that run.
Yep.
But multi-book events.
Or was it Fraction and
it might have been Fraction.
Might have been Fraction.
You know what? Actually, it's dense, but I enjoyed Infinity, and I could see why someone wouldn't. But I enjoyed it. I liked a lot of that. I also liked Annihilation. I think what Marvel did with some of their cosmic stuff for the past
first Annihilation is quite good. Yeah,
first Annihilation is great. The second one, Conquest, loses the plot a bit, but I thought they introduced some interesting characters. I just think Ultron's a dry villain for that kind of thing. And Tom specifically,
yes.
What comics have you been introduced to, and really like? But let's twist this. Are there any comic books you've read that you've enjoyed? No. Okay.
I mean,
I'll start feeding you shit.
I don't. You know what? Like, I liked yours just because I like you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Southside did one that was an online only thing that I dug.
Yep.
But like, I bought the Watchmen like a
graphic novel. Yeah.
like it was like a book.
Thick ass trade. Yeah.
Sure. Just because I thought the movie was kind of cool and I wanted some like background, I never read it. Like I haven't bought comics legitimately. Like the ones I had are probably worth so much fucking money right now.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Do you know what era you were buying them in? Early 90s? Late 80s?
Like 80 to 83.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you might have some good stuff.
Like legit, like, oh, here's like the first like G.I. Joe, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Like shit that
Larry
I was
Stroman? Larry Stroman is G.I. Joe, right?
He did Alien Legion.
No, what did he? Who was the writer on G.I. Joe? Who's the big name on
Larry Hama.
Larry Hama, yep.
that woman is Snoop Dogg's cousin. Not her.
No,
the one you were looking at.
Oh, yeah. She's cool.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg's sister. Yeah, she's from Boston.
I do that. What's her name? I know her name.
Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks.
That's Snoop Dogg's cousin? Is
Yeah.
she Sasha Banks?
Yeah.
And she's, what's that? The things on her rings?
Legit boss.
Legit boss.
Legit
I feel her vibe.
I like that they
that.
have like the car salesman stuff.
Yeah.
You know what's
the
funny is
wacky
that I
wind
think
racers.
comic books, to introduce them to an adult, there's some that I'd be good with. Watchmen is a great book, but I don't think it's something I would recommend to somebody as a first comic
No,
book.
typically not.
It's a little too heavy on text and a little too. It's like that's so much of the time. 80s, like there was a lot more text. There's more recent stuff that I would potentially point you at if you were actually interested.
Yeah,
that are cool. They're like,
Do they
you
sell
can feed
actual
the person.
comic books now?
Oh yeah.
Like still with like
Floppies.
the shitty.
They call them floppies. 22 pages. It's 30 pages with about 8 to 10 pages of ads.
Right, like color cover, and the rest is like print, like ink, like
Oh, like black and white. Some.
or not
he
even,
had a
not
black and
even
white-
black and white, but like it's like
It's actually
newspaper
like, yeah.
print and not
No, they switched
that's
over
actually
from that a
more,
long time
that,
ago.
That has turned out to be more expensive.
Yes.
the paper, the newspaper
than
print.
doing the kind
The
of
glossy paper.
slightly higher end paper
Got
that is truly ass.
Yes.
If you would recommend me two each,
I'll think about
buy
it.
them on like Amazon.
Okay.
I'll check them
All
out.
right.
Do they sell comics on Amazon?
They
Oh
do.
yeah, lots of them.
Like actual, I don't have to buy like a fucking 8 fucking comic run of something. Can I get like?
You just want a
You
22
can get a
page?
single issue.
We'll,
Like,
get, you know, we'll grab you a couple.
You should just walk into Midtown.
Yeah, Midtown Comics is really nice.
I feel like a dork because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
No,
No.
don't worry about it.
There's-
They just
there's
got
actually-
Yo, you think comic book stores? The thing about comic book store that's so good in a weird, inviting way, those dudes know half the people who come in here don't really like to talk to other humans.
Yeah.
And so what it is a giant wall of comics. That can be daunting, but you are allowed and almost encouraged. You can just stand there and stare at the wall until you decide what you want to grab off the wall.
Sure. I want to read The Killing Joke.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Scandalous in this current era.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because that, yeah.
A little problematic.
A little problematic, depending on your perspective.
Not that long ago, though.
little
It's not an
probably
old
pig.
comic,
Word.
right?
It's not a million years
Not
old.
really
no.
weird. Yeah.
All right.
One more.
Okay.
I think I know where we're going to go with this one. Hold on. Let me plop
The
this
woman
in.
on the left is The Rock's cousin. Mm-hmm. Woman on the right, Jimmy Snooker's daughter.
I don't like this shit. I hate dynasties. Get this fucking fake shit out of here.
Fake fucking shit fucking.
Who is the most likable person in America? Gotta be Ellen or Peyton Manning, right?
Ellen. I mean,
Peyton
Ellen
Manning?
is likable, but
I don't think she's that likable. And Peyton
Peyton-
Manning, by the way, Mike Lawson is a Colts fan, so
I would do it. Most likable person in America.
most likable Haley Williams.
Haley might be one of. No, who would I go for? Hurley from Lost.
fuck.
I mean, the
Melissa
problem
McCarthy.
is no,
That's a weird
maybe. Most people who become like that level, like those kids from Stranger Things, I hated their ass.
Yeah.
They got annoying, but like I felt bad because I'm like, I guess you're just children, but you're annoying me.
You know who might be? Kate McKinnon from Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah, I like her.
Dark sociopath.
But then there's other people that it's like you think you should like Jennifer Lawrence, because like, hey, look, I'm just normal, but you're
Yeah,
not that
she's try-
normal.
no, I don't like
You're,
that
you're
much.
stunting. You're trying to be. Yeah.
Yeah, lizard underneath that flesh. I don't know.
It's tough. I don't like a lot of celebrities.
Who smiles and laughs a lot? As long as you smile and laugh a
Kim
lot. I like your
Kardashian.
ass.
A lot of people hate her.
Yeah.
A lot of
I don't
people
mind
hate her. I've gone on record. I have so much respect for her. Not for any of that businesswoman shit. I hate all that garbage. I
No.
don't give a fuck how capitalist you are. I don't respect any of that nonsense. But because people are calling her a dumb bitch all day online, and she doesn't let it wear her down.
Oh yeah, it seems like they don't care at all.
Yeah, she wipes her tears with $1 million bill. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, but some people, like, honestly,
Kylie Jenner.
to have thousands
anyone
and
dislike Kylie
thousands and
Jenner?
thousands
I
of
don't think
people.
anybody likes her though.
But I'm trying to think most likable. Kylie Jenner seems pretty likable.
You think? She doesn't offer you much.
She's a billionaire who's 21, and
Yeah, am I
is
supposed
very
to like
attractive.
that person?
She's very attractive.
Well, I'm not mad at that part, but I'm saying she doesn't offer.
No,
a
she
lot of
doesn't
these
offer
people
me
don't
anything. I'm
I
just
think
asking. I'm
personality,
saying,
man.
okay, so Peyton
Tracy
Manning or
Morgan. I think Tracy Morgan seems
Tracy
cool.
Morgan? He seems pretty
Tracy
cool.
Morgan seems cool.
He's
Stephen
pretty good.
Colbert seems pretty cool.
He seems all right.
I'm all right with
I
Colbert.
feel like he's kind of nice. He's inviting.
Seems
I
all
like
right.
him. I'm trying to think.
He takes a stand, but he's not like some. I could see people not liking, say,
That's
like
what-
Jon Stewart.
Jerry Seinfeld?
Jerry Seinfeld seems very casual.
He had his scandal, but it was so long ago that I think people are completely
Kind of
over it.
problematic.
Yeah.
He's 20 years ago. What are
He
we going to do?
dated a high school girl, brother,
Look,
and he was like 40.
I'm not advocating for his behavior. I'm just saying, like, what am I going to do? Like, run down on Jerry? You know what I mean?
You could roll up on him and
All
be
right,
like,
fuck it.
Larry David?
Fuck it.
I'm trying to think.
You know, Larry David was
people that hate
he
him.
was a witness.
Oh, that's right.
he should have known.
He should have said
Like
something like
James
JD.
Dolan.
Yeah.
JD.
All right, let's think about it. All right, so
we got to think about this. This is a good question.
It's a very good question.
Most
very
likable
tough.
person in America.
Very tough.
John Cena?
He might be. He's got no
Oh,
problem.
I mean, people
Do
love
you like
The
John
Rock.
Cena?
People love The Rock.
People do love The Rock. I think he might be.
Dwayne Johnson. The
Don't
Rock.
they call that like the Q rating?
Yes.
Yeah, Dwayne
Yes.
Johnson's Q rating. Look up
Yes.
the Q rating.
I'm gonna do it
I think
right now.
I think The
Vamp
Rock
for
is
me,
a very
vamp.
good one. What's the female highest Q rating?
Oh, probably somebody that I am not totally
Not
plugged
Scarlett Johansson.
No, she's frowny. People like
frowny.
I love her, but people don't love
I
her.
do love her.
People like people that smile all the time and make eye contact.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
know.
people love.
I know that's.
But I feel like to
That's why
be
I'm a
very
fan.
likable,
The
you
Rock.
can't be that good looking.
Oh, you
The
think?
Rock. The Rock has the balance where he's very muscular, and like good. Not he's not an ugly dude,
No,
but he's
he's a
not
handsome
like
man, isn't he?
I don't. Yeah, I think he's handsome.
No, he's handsome.
but he's not. He's not handsome in that way. Like he's like a cartoon character. You know
Do
what I
you
mean?
think anybody resents Scarlett Johansson for being as beautiful as she is?
Yes,
many,
1000%.
many.
Yes.
Many. And the like tear down, like, oh look, see,
Oh, like if
She's-
she's got any cellulite, you know there's
Oh,
some
yeah.
fucking
Some haters,
monster
some haters.
asshole out
I'm trying
there.
to think. I think Rock is the answer.
Yeah, that would be my
The
guess.
rest is the rest of the crew of the Fast and Furious series.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who else is well liked. I couldn't tell you. I'm going with the Rock.
Oprah.
Oprah's well liked, sure.
I don't know.
Her Q score suggests she could actually win the
Election.
2020 election.
Fucking run.
Oh, the most
Run,
likable
Oprah.
person in America, Donald Trump's pretty high. That just says a lot about fucking America.
Is he well liked? Is his Q score good? What is that?
I mean, it's better than it should be.
That's true.
So
No matter
taking-
what it is, that is true.
So we trust in idiots.
This stuff is like seriously like
there's no.
it's like
answer?
hidden. Like you have to pay.
Oh, fuck
Oh,
that.
really?
All right, let's go through some top ones. Let's see.
Okay. The Q scores.
Adele is up there.
She sucks.
That is weird.
I like her.
I'm not buying this.
No with it.
Tom Hanks. That's who it is.
Hanks. All right.
Yeah,
Tom Hanks
people like
and
Tom Hanks a
and
lot.
The Rock. That's the
Tom
we'll
Hanks,
put that out
Adele,
there.
Johnny Depp,
Johnny Depp.
Samuel L. Jackson,
Samuel Jackson's pretty light.
This is
He's
old
pretty good.
data.
Sandra Bullock.
This is
This is
old
from
data.
1997.
Yes.
No, it's seriously
This is
2007,
Mystic
relax.
Pizza era. What are we talking about here?
Oh, also,
right.
PewDiePie is on here. Some of it
Yeah,
is a
this
little
is
old.
the old
All right.
data.
So I think our answer is Tom Hanks and The Rock.
It's
Yes.
2017.
I'm going
Okay.
PewDiePie number 1, followed by
Milo number 2. Yeah.
I'm going
Followed by
Kylie
Milo
Jenner. You
and
guys
Johnny
can blow
Depp.
me. I'm going Kylie Jenner. Bill and Ted 3.
yeah, it's coming.
Into it?
Drug Church is trying to get music in it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
you serious?
Really
yeah,
should.
They're desperate to do it.
Best solo Wu-Tang album. Bobby Digital.
Oh,
No
really?
way.
Wow.
That's mine.
Wow.
I'm going to go Liquid
Oh.
Swords, man.
Oh, Liquid
Yeah,
Swords
it's
is
Liquid
pretty
Swords.
good. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
That's the right answer. Fuck. What is the plural of Bigfoot?
I don't,
Big feet.
Yeah, big feet, I think.
I think it's one of those like same. Oh, did you see that pack of Bigfoot over there?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think so. What's up with
Dude, I saw like 7 Bigfoot. It's probably that.
Yeah.
It's probably no plural.
Yeah,
You don't say, like, I saw 7 big feet. Like, that's weird. What happened to the 8th?
that's right. See, he's smart with these questions. What's up with toes? They're weird as hell. Like they don't grab shit. I grab shit when it does.
I definitely have picked up a
Shouldn't
pen or
they
two
have
of it.
evolved into something cool / useful by now?
Yeah, give it
Are
time.
fucking
By
thong,
now.
Give
are
it time.
thong flip flops stopping us from evolving to web feet? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's keep that out. Don't buy into the toe shoes. I'm a heavy dude. Some may even venture as far as to say I'm fat.
Okay.
Is
I
big
wouldn't.
boned a real thing?
I mean, technically no, but
There's people with different frames. Like that's
Yes,
just real.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like you
but
see
I
it.
mean, literally big boned is not a thing. But if we're talking about when we
Some
say,
people have bigger bones than others.
yes, True.
Some girls are bigger than others.
Yeah, look, there's different frames. There's no doubt about that. Just check out somebody with broad shoulders versus somebody with
was the
narrow
question?
shoulders. It's pretty fucking wild.
I'm sorry, I zoomed
I'm
out
a
for
heavy
second.
dude.
All right, I'm a heavy
Some
dude.
may even venture as far as to say fat. Is
up, buddy?
big boned a real thing?
I think it's a euphemism.
And I said that there's people who have bigger frames than others. And
Right.
some
It's not like
people
you
have
have
wider-
thicker bones.
No.
But some people are built like you're
Yeah.
like you can never be small.
Yo,
You're just too big
and
to do
I
that.
say this: there's men, there's women. We talk about men with broad shoulders. You talk about women with broad hips. It's just
right, and there's definitely fat people that are like you're not meant to be fat.
No, sure.
Like you're taking a time bomb.
My dad's like 220 right now, and I'm like, yo, you need to put on like another like 20.
How big is he?
He's 6'2".
Big man.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
What was his walking around weight like when he like back
probably
then?
240.
The biggest he's ever been. I think he hovered around 300.
6'2", 300 pounds, big dude.
And was
He's a big guy.
right, but then I think his
I'd say his fighting weight's probably 250.
yeah.
Big man.
Can you tell John Elway and Gary Busey apart? Only because John Elway's wearing his Super Bowl rings.
Right, at all times.
All the
That was a
time.
good answer.
I know.
Also,
Broncos
Gary
fan.
Busey has had reconstructive surgery and looks
John Elway didn't need that
incredibly
shit.
strange now.
Right, and John Elway wore a helmet when he did his
Yeah.
shit.
Yes, that's right.
precisely.
Remember when that dude threw a shoe at George Bush?
Yep.
I do.
Egg Kid doesn't have shit on that guy. Egg Kid is cool though. Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
Egg Kid might not have faced his family's incarceration and potentially a firing squad for
Throwing some eggs.
egging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
And the other dude may
Did
have,
he?
for all I know. Who knows?
We're throwing a wild hot policy hour. Why do movie soundtrack albums exist? Kenny Loggins can just put his bangers on his own albums.
No, you got to get it out there, man. Daredevil soundtrack. Let's do it.
Sure, I mean, the single soundtrack, one of the best soundtracks ever.
There you go.
Bill and Ted 3.
Just listen to an interview with Lisa Loeb explaining how that whole thing
Dude,
happened for
Stay?
Reality Bites.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
Reality Bites
Great.
being
Oh
the
my God.
You say
singles being the better of those two, but
Yes.
but both movie and
Yeah.
soundtrack. But it was interesting. She
Very fascinating.
she had recorded on her own in like her living room or whatever it was, and was just. She doesn't say I was banging all of Ethan Hawke's friends, but she kind of says I was banging all of Ethan Hawke's
That's
friends.
fantastic.
And then she just was friends with Ethan and was like, "Hey, could you maybe?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's force it." Got it.
Let's see what's on the soundtrack.
To what?
So
Reality Bites or
turn the
singles?
radio on,
Well, I know. I mean, I can tell you singles off the top of my fucking head. Although it's cool because singles has some songs. Probably, I would go as far to say best Pearl Jam song ever. State of
Great.
Love and Trust.
It's a very good Pearl Jam song. Very, very
Great
good.
Soundgarden song. Great Alice in
Great,
Chains song
great.
that never appeared anywhere else.
Exclusive.
So we got for Reality Bites. I owned this as a kid. My Sharona,
Okay, yeah.
good song. Spin the Bottle by Juliana Hatfield. Huge Juliana Hatfield fan right here. Bed of Roses, The Indians, which I don't know. When You Come Back to Me, World Party. Going, Going, Gone, The Posies.
Yep.
Underrated.
Yep. Yes.
Stay, I Missed You, Lisa Loeb, and 9 Stories.
Yep.
Yes.
All I Want Is You by U2. One of the better. I mean, I'm probably. You're a U2 guy, right?
Yeah.
That's a great song.
Great song.
Locked,
Secret hit of their 90s era. Yeah.
Locked Out, Crowded House, Spinning Around Over You,
song.
Lenny Kravitz. I'm Nothing, Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Really, bro?
Force that shit. Sure.
Turnip Farm, Dinosaur Jr. Revival, Me Fi Me. Tempted by Squeeze. Tempted
yeah.
by the fruit of... I would go see
Yeah,
Squeeze in
great.
20
Revitalized on that soundtrack.
Yes.
You know, here's a hit that I think might have been only on this... Baby, I Love Your Way by Big Mountain.
Oh,
Fantastic
Are you kidding? It's
song.
fantastic. Yes.
Fantastic.
Dude's got white dreads.
Yeah.
Close this episode with that song.
Yeah, it's
please.
great.
Close it. We don't do.
Oh, I
many
was going to end it with the Biohazard
baby,
demo,
I
but okay.
love
But that works
We'll
too.
do. I mean, blend it in, like layer it in.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I guess let's end on that.
Well, no, we got a couple more here. Why do smelling salts smell? What do smelling salts smell like?
What? Shit, I don't know.
10 tries to kick a 20-yard field goal. How many do you make?
I'd say 2 at the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's 40 feet. That's 60 yards? 60
Yep,
feet?
60 feet.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
Now, am I free kicking it or someone's holding it for me? If I could drop kick it like a punter, I could probably
much
do
better.
that
Same.
more likely.
I could get 6 out of that.
Wow.
No, yeah, 6 a punt.
6 of 10?
6 to 10. I think I could get 6 to 10.
You know
Yo,
you got to get it in the.
Yeah, I think I can. Yo, have you ever punted? Once you punt a ball a few times, give me a little bit of warm up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you get
not
3.
not even at the field, just to get the kicks
Okay.
down.
Yeah.
Once you get your flow down with punting, you can kick it
It's like
pretty
bowling.
far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like once you get that form
Like 6
down.
is a little confident, but like 4 to 6, I'll put money in.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it with like someone holding spotting
Holding,
me.
I'm toast. Holding's
I'd
really tough.
kick somebody in the hand. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, holding 2 of 10 is much more realistic. Let's see. Last couple here.
Keep saying that.
Do you answer? I know. Do you answer calls from numbers you don't recognize?
Not a
100%
chance.
no.
Never in my
Never.
life.
Why do the Oakland A's use an elephant in their logo?
Oh,
It's got to be something to do with like
There's a name.
peanuts, I thought.
or circus or something.
It was
Weren't
the
they like-
athletics. It was something to do with that. Yes, there's something to do with the whole thing. Do you fuck with the ancient Chinese art of karaoke? Yes, we
Love
talked about this.
karaoke.
Yeah. What's your go-to song? I don't have a go-to song.
I do AC/DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What song?
What's our?
I'll do Thunderstruck if they'll let me, but
What about
that's
Big
like
Balls?
that's vamping a lot.
Yeah, it's a big band.
Back in Black I've done.
Mike, come up for Axe to Grind karaoke. We'll set it up. How many people? This is the last question. How many people got in a kayak for the first time, hoping to get the record-breaking Barry Bonds ball?
Oh, probably
Many.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, 4's enough.
I mean, there were dozens of people out in the bay in
Yeah,
McCovey
that was
Cove.
wild, yeah.
Do you think they rented those though? Like,
I feel like it's a good, if you want to buy yourself one. I mean, it's a good, it's the
good
amount of money
reason.
you're going to get for it
yeah.
I think
yeah.
from
saw-
Steiner Sports.
Saw his 750. It was 755 was the record to break, right?
I couldn't tell.
Yes.
I think I saw 751 or 2 at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, that's kind of sick.
That was kind of cool. Yeah.
New York Giants manager John DeGraw dismissed the A's with contempt, calling them the White Elephants.
Oh, nice.
Mac defiantly adopted the White Elephant as a team insignia, and in 1902, the A's won the American League pennant.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
The A's win the pennant. The A's win the pennant. Ooh, baby, I love your way.
Thank you, everybody.
Ooh.